Hello, everyone.
Hey, chat.
I cannot see
President
chat.
Obama?
Excuse me.
Why do you do this?
I don't know. Terrible.
Well, not much point in still being on the intro screen, so let's go to the main one. Oh, wrong one. Free gremlin pics. Oh, here we are. So, yeah, we've now got the map in the background.
Ooh. Very
Music. Cool. Yeah, very professional.
Professional operation. Yay.
I can't see or hear either one of them because I am playing from a potato.
Potato.
Speaking of which, if anybody says anything very funny in chat, y'all better let me know. I ain't trusting this thing with that at the moment.
It's episode 2 of Go by Moonlight. It's episode 2 of Go by Moonlight. Yay.
So, yeah. Here we are. Does anyone remember what happened last session? I'm not entirely sure I was there for it.
No, have written down, kind of.
We were there to investigate, meet up with someone who was going to give us a hint on what the conspiracy actually was, and unfortunately they were killed.
Got hit by a car.
And
then we got hit by a ghost car. Okay, a dream car. Or something.
Well, Keith did.
Yeah. Technically, wait, did you get hit?
No.
I thought you avoided it.
I jumped over it.
Oh, yeah. With movie logic.
Yep. We went into a dozing cop's brain who was thinking themselves as a Dirty Harry-like character, and we managed to get some information out of their brain that they managed to secret away on behalf of the conspiracy. And that has led us to a few different leads. But one we are going to chase up hopefully today is Phyll. Probably a good idea for Noah to tell us about Phyll.
Yep.
Oh dear.
Welcome to the
I wasn't sure how much of the... So... What... So... Boy. So Officer Jenny, whose dream we were in, there was a... Where? No, wait. Okay, crap. There was a picture. Where did we find the picture? We found the picture somewhere. James Jones, it looks like. The victim's jacket. Okay. Okay, Officer Jenny had a memory of Carys' Uncle Jack, but he's not he's not the one we're looking into. Okay. The victim's jacket had a manila envelope with photos in it of several different things, but there was a picture of Welkin. Is it Welkin? Am I saying that right? Miracle's mentor?
You are, yes.
Okay. Talking to Phyll, who is the president of the fishing club, which Tern is in, and also was his Tern's contact within the conspiracy when he was a part of it.
Okay, suspicious. And I believe, yep, Phyll is obviously the lead you're following up on now. So, but yeah, where are my manners? There is something to sort out first. Let's begin with our obligation.
I do not remember how any of this works.
Okay, so in contrast to Blades in the Dark, your stress resets between each session. So at the moment, you're all on 0 stress. Great, eh? The bad news is, of course, when the session starts, we begin with obligation. This represents your character's day-to-day struggles. So what you need to do is identify your lowest attribute. That's the stat you get based on how many dots are in each one. So sun, moon, stars, which will be on your character sheet. Obviously, if you've got your two lowest ones are the same, you can just choose between them. And basically, just sort of tell us what the most difficult thing your characters had to deal with this week is. And then we can roll the appropriate attribute, and that will determine how much stress your character starts on. Does anyone want to go first, or shall I pick a volunteer?
Pick a volunteer. Go on. Live a little.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Nolas, it's your character's thing.
Oh dear. Okay. Crap. I've already. I did not write down how I worked this out last time.
Okay, so if you look on your character sheet, your
Page
playbook,
numbers on this PDF.
you'll see that.
So,
Yeah.
Classes and aforementioned fishing club.
Yeah. If you look at your action or your action dots, you'll see they're grouped into sun, moon, and stars.
Mm-hmm.
And that basically works the same as the attributes in Blades.
Yep, I've constructed what is, I think is or was called a Mario, whereas I have a 1 in all 3.
Okay, so basically pick one.
Yep, I'll go with Sun, I suppose.
And basically...
Page 83.
Thank you. Keith? Yep, so sun is obligation involving anything sort of scary or physically taxing. Moon is obligation that's heartbreaking or, drives you to despair. And stars is social pressure or anxiety.
Possibly stars then.
Okay, so, yep. What's causing you to roll stars for obligation?
I guess kind of a kind of constant social stealth kind of situation where he's not where there are very important details that I still failed to iron out for this character, such as is he still in the conspiracy and is he still working for them?
Don't worry about that right
Either
now.
way,
Although,
either way, the fact that he's working against him is going to be hard to hide. So that's going to be one of the struggles that kind of goes on daily with him, especially when he's in close contact with the people that he was in contact with when he was working with them.
all right. Yep, trying to sort of hide the fact your allegiances have changed. Sounds good. Roll us some stars.
Okay.
We're going to
bonus dice.
yeah, we're going to deduct your roll from a 6 to determine how much.
Hey, clean slate. Got the full tank.
Yeah,
Or empty
you're
tank,
starting
everywhere.
with. Yep, you're starting with 0 stress. That's a good. Well, and you couldn't have critted, so that's about as well as it could have gone. Who's up next then?
Oh, go on then.
All right, what's Carys been up to?
In terms of the mundane, general day-to-day struggles, just trying not to it's that balance, you know. It's just keep on top of all of the obligations so that nobody suspects that I've got other things going on outside of the various uni-related stuff. But also needing to step outside of those expectations so I can actually get stuff done, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just that struggle.
Oh, yep. Which action role is this for you?
Son.
Okay, son. So, yep. Sounds about right. Just sort of navigating that fear of being caught. Roll away.
Yep. Okay. Oh no! Wait, I tabbed away. Ah. Okay, so I
No.
just click.
Tap back. Tap back to us.
So I just click Son. Yeah.
Yep, just click son and it should roll it for you.
Oh, that was not. I didn't want 2. Why did it give me 2 roll?
You just got 0 dice.
Yeah, because you got... Yeah, if you have 0...
I see.
Yeah.
Right, so it gave me
Yeah.
the 2. Oh, I understand, because I didn't have 1 in it. I understand.
Yeah, if you don't have any... If you have 0 dots, you roll 2 and take the lowest.
It's like rolling at a disadvantage, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
so
I guess...
that's 2. So 6 minus 2, I start with 4 stress.
Yep. Could be worse. Could be a lot worse. But only if you started with
Very similar
5
to
stress.
what I had before.
Oh. Okay, and last but not least, Miracle Hat, of course, has a special ability, which means, Keith, you're only going to be rolling stars, is it?
Yep. Miracle jumped straight back into the new academic year without missing a beat. Workload, fine. Working through the night and ignoring all parts of demands for your body, fine. She's perfectly fine with all of this side of things. What she's not fine with is having to deal with new housemates and having them not leave the house in a decent condition, coming back at the weirdest times of the evening, waking her up. All these annoying little social problems that back up for Miracle. But she's doing her best.
Yeah. We all know it well, from one side or the other. Okay, so...
And I'm getting free stress.
yeah. Not a great roll for 2 dots, but better than nothing. I mean, or more than something.
Pretty bad roll.
Yeah. Stark contrast to last session when, of course, you got the first crit of the campaign.
Straight away. Yeah.
Okay, then. So, with that out of the way, next up, downtime. So, you'll get to downtimes. Just as a reminder, the downtime actions are make a connection, which of course lets you create links, which can just be spent for free boosts. Help a friend recover, because basically you don't do your own recovery rolls in this. Another teammate has to help you out. Work on a long-term project, of course. Or of course you can further the investigation.
I know one of the things I'm going to be doing. I forget, we get 2 actions? Do we get 2 or?
Yep, you get 2 by
we have 2
default.
downtimes, yeah.
Yeah. Unless, of course, you crit on your obligation roll, which you get free.
Oh, wow. So I remember that I ended up with the level 1 harm, and I think somebody else, at least one other person, ended up with harm.
It's not my sheet, so I assume not for me.
No, I suffer no harm.
Yeah, I think it was only a turn.
Oh. Well, darn, I could have sworn somebody else did, because when the special ability, the constant care ability that I took, lets me basically do healing rolls for both me and somebody else at the same time. Like I heal myself as I heal them. I could have sworn somebody else got a level 1, but I suppose not. So I guess I'm stuck with this tinnitus.
Between me and Keith, we have 4 down time actions. I wouldn't worry about that.
Nah. No, still. I get to use something. In that case, I don't really have any specific ideas for using downtime actions for. I doubt I can try to heal somebody else who doesn't have any harm.
Well, I suggest if you've got any long-term projects, work on those. If not, just make a connection with both the other players. Oh yeah, of course. Series rule changes make a connection to share an intimate moment, which has some sort of special rules. But where basically you can either get an extra dice on the roll or XP, depending on how the other character feels about it. Tell you what, while you think about that, do you wanna? Shall we go to someone else's downtime?
Yeah.
Okay. Keith, I haven't picked you to go first yet.
No, you haven't. I guess, seeing as I can't do shares at the moment and can't do help someone heal, unfortunately, because stranger. I guess either long-term projects. Yep, I can't help recover.
Yep.
Yep, can't help recover. Can't make a connection. So I'm doing the investigation side of things. Unfortunately, I don't know particularly very much about Phyll, seeing as that's who we're probably going to be chasing after. But I'm hoping that luck itself is going to work in my favour as I spend my off hours when I'm not busy doing my degree. Yeah,
aren't able to
looking around the docks because that's where my family are.
Okay.
You aren't able to assist rolls made in downtime, are you? Because I feel like it would make kind of sense if Tern was helping with this.
No, because there's no penalty for failing downtime actions.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair.
And basically, you can't spend stress, so.
Yeah. I think given that I am mainly there to see my family and not in an investigative capacity, I'm going to maybe chance upon the fishing club if they are at the docks and watch them from the sidelines, and then if things get weird about me being there, it's more the fact that I've got my siblings and my mother there to worry about, so I don't look particularly suspicious there. So I'm going to roll conceal for this one, if that's okay.
Yep, conceal sounds good.
All right, conceal for my investigations. It's not any particular roll, is it? So it's just roll that.
Yep.
And get me a 6.
Okay, so 6 on a downtime action means 4 segments on the investigation track.
That puts it up to 5, which is the tier 1 investigation we're doing.
Okay.
That's how it works.
Yep.
4 segments, yeah.
Yep. So I'm going to say, while you're not expecting to sort of see anyone you recognise hanging around at the fishing club, you in fact do. Phyll sort of walks. Well, they're doing what you'd expect. They're hanging about on the pier. Some of them are actually sort of casting the lines out and waiting, but most of them are just sort of chatting, comparing lures and all those other fishing things that I'm sure people who know about fishing could describe in great detail. There's probably like a bucket of metaphorical and literal crabs next to them. And more to the point,
Crab rave.
Chatting to Phyll, as she was in one of the photos you found on your unfortunately deceased informant, is your mentor, Welkin.
It's
A woman in
weird
jeans
place
and
for it to
a denim battle jacket.
be. Yep, a very weird place for it to be.
Yep.
I was going to use my gathering information check to say who doesn't belong here, and I assume it's Welkin.
Yep. Welkin mostly sticks to the academic quarter of the city, and as far as you're aware, she doesn't have any sort of ties to the docks.
Very weird. Wonder what she's doing with Phyll. That's probably something I need to talk to the others about. Oh dear. My gathering information, or my free gathering information role for the investigation is, I guess, who doesn't belong here, and I guess that's down to Welkin then. So yeah, that's my downtime, or my first downtime.
Yep. You've got one other.
Do you want to go to someone else first, or do you want me to double this one up? I can double this one up, it's fine.
Oh well.
So I'll investigate again if that's the case.
Well, if you want to investigate again, we can just do that quickly.
Sure. Now that I know that, we've got confirmation that Welkin and Phyll are actually talking to each other, I'm probably going to stalk Welkin for a bit, or at least try and catch up with her at some juncture and try and get what she's up to at the moment, why we haven't talked for a while.
Okay, so you're going to directly approach Welkin, is that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay, yep. What are you rolling for this then?
I am going to roll empathize. And I don't have any dots in it, so it's going to be fun. So yeah, I'm going to roll that now then.
Okay, roll away.
Going to meet up with Welkin at probably a loud music venue and talk to her for a bit.
Okay.
Try and get some information out of her.
Alright, I thought you were literally going to approach her there on the pier.
Nah, not there on the pier. Sometime later.
Okay, fair enough.
That's a fail. So just one dot, yeah.
Yeah, that's a fail, so yeah. Oh no, it's 2 segments on the track.
That fills the track.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's why I wasn't too concerned about it being a problem, because one segment was going to fill the track.
Okay. So
unless it carries over.
What does filling the track up do?
I do not know. When a tier is completely filled, the protagonists considered to be at that tier in their investigation. The protagonists get 1 dice to their engagement rolls for missions of equal or lower tier to their investigation progress. That's on page 89.
Okay.
I suppose then it carries on to tier 2. But more importantly, I imagine that means we have to start identifying, or eventually identify, targets, which I'm going to read through now while you handle someone else's downtime.
Yeah.
But probably should work out what Welkin tells me and what I do for gathering information there.
Oh yeah, of course. So you meet up with Welkin, presumably perhaps a she has like a dive bar she frequents, so you can usually find her there.
Yep.
So it's not the kind of place anyone will go unless it's their regular place to be, or it's or they're trying to find someone there. It's dark, the floor's slightly sticky, and she is of course sat at the bar, slowly drinking a pint of beer.
Well.
Yep. And as you say this, she immediately perks up. Oh, hey, Miracle. What's up? Been a while.
Summer break was busy. Just thought I'd say hi and see how you're doing.
Yep. Well, remember you need to pace yourself. And remember,
No,
there's never a bad time to text.
I
Kids these days still text.
well, I kind of wanted to see you face to face, I guess. How's everything?
Wanting to see someone face to face. There's hope for you yet, kid. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. The music's quite loud. Sorry. Yeah. How are you doing? What's new? But Miracle's not at all. not at all as easy here.
Oh, I said, how are you doing?
That volume. Yeah, I'm good. Just a bit rattled by everything is all. Just kind of wanted to know what you've been up to recently.
You know, fighting the good fight. Well, trying to not to lose tenure. And of course, keeping this place afloat.
Yeah, it's doing well, I guess. Miracle has barely an idea on the state of the bar and realizes it's been a real bad idea.
Yeah, it takes you a
But I'm
moment.
assuming she finds out something while she's
Yeah.
stumbling through this conversation.
Yeah, it takes Miracle a moment, but she does sort of, for a second, she sort of considers the possibility that Wellen's opened a bar, but then she realizes she just meant she's drinking here a lot. But yeah, after a sort of an extended conversation where Miracle's talking a bit too quietly and can't really hear her over the music anyway. You do pick up on a couple of words and realise that she's sort of basically you sort of get a read on her face because you know her pretty well by this point. That she let too much slip, and it was just by lucky coincidence during a lull in the music. Mention of one of the rooms on the university campus. 734. Although that's kind of odd because you think the building only goes up to floor 6, and the numbers obviously use the floor number in the first digit of the rooms.
That's my gather information question then for this one. What might happen if I go to that room? Or try and find a floor 7 in the admin building at the university?
What might happen indeed? Perhaps it's perhaps it's a hidden room of perhaps it's euphemistic. Like maybe the room is not actually on the an non-existent 7th floor. It could also be a reference to the roof. You do know there's a bit of a urban legend around the campus that the roof of the main building is haunted.
Oh, fun. Cool. All right. So, after a fruitless evening of talking to Welkin and promising to catch up and text occasionally, I guess, Miracle is going to leave with her ears ringing from the loud volume of the music. And I guess that's my downtime done then.
Okay. You ready, Nolus?
I suppose. Let me see So one of the options is to basically further the investigation track or something, right?
Yep. Which Miracle Keith's character just did.
Or we could do the links thing and try to have those to play with. Let's see. Yeah, I think for lack of much of another specific idea, let me see. I think it says you can only do intimate moments with once per character per downtime thing, or downtime phase. But so that just means you can't do one with the same person twice, right? You can do one. I can do once with each character.
That's correct.
Okay, I'd like to try and do that.
Okay.
Even though I don't know if we used any of them last session or not.
What do you mean? All right, I think you lose any links. Like, links don't carry over, so any that weren't used expire.
Yeah. I'm gonna use them to recover stress mid-mission.
Right,
Okay,
yeah.
so share an intimate moment replaces make a connection. So basically, you pick another protagonist, and basically you sort of it's literally just you're hanging out with that other character, and sort of building some connections with one another. And the special rule for this series, which makes it share an intimate moment instead of make a connection, is basically the character you pick can either share this moment with you, or sort of just push you away, keep you at arm's length. If they share it with you, you get an extra dice to the roll. If they hold themselves apart, mark XP, so you get XP. So yeah, pick a character. Miracle Harbour, Keith's character, or Carys Gwilym, Enfys's character.
Okay, I think I'll go with the Carys first, because I don't know, that's just the order that I have them on my sheet. Let me see. I forget what we know about Carys as far as what either their major or their hobbies or whatnot is. I just have the time traveler stuff in that our characters aren't supposed to know everything about. Not everything, anyway.
Psychology student and is very busy. That's with voluntary / charity stuff.
I guess showing up to pitch in with some of the charity stuff would be an intuitive way to kind of hang out.
That makes sense. So how are you approaching Carys then?
I suppose with the traits that I've sort of with ideas that I've built Tern's character around, he would be coming at it from the angle of just kind of trying to prove that he's trying to redeem himself and such. So trying to he definitely ask Carys if it was okay if he showed up to help out and stuff, like as naturally as possible, or yeah, basically.
This wouldn't be questioned in any way. Carys would simply give you a little bit of a nod and say, we can always use extra hands, and take you along to whatever's going on that day.
Okay, that sounds like you're sharing the moment. So yeah, roll with an extra dice. Oh yeah.
Okay. I feel like this kind of has to be express, which I don't have any dots in, but the extra die will make it 1 instead of 0.
That's correct.
So
yeah, roll express with an extra die.
Okay. Here's the standard +1 die.
Yeah, position and effect don't really matter during downtime.
I think asking if I was in transcendent mode or something, it came up first. That took me by surprise. Completely forgot we had those.
Okay, that
so
is a...
Four's good.
Yeah, so...
So 4 or 5 is 3
3 links.
dinguses, 3 things.
Yep, so you can assign links as you choose between your characters. Well, they're your links, so you can decide how many you keep and how many you give to Carys.
I believe it actually goes to the other person.
All right, yes. Yeah, but the...
Yeah, Carys reassigns them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yep, so Carys, you've got 3 links to distribute between yourself and Tern as you see fit.
I forget what exactly the difference is supposed to be as far as, like, if the moment isn't shared, then XP is marked, but is anything given if the moment is shared, or is that, just...
Yeah, that's where the extra dice came from.
Oh, right, +1 die, right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess Enfys decides who gets how many.
You can keep 2. I'll take 1.
Cool. Okay, so I have 2 links with Carys.
Cough.
And let me see. With Miracle, as I understand it, one of the stranger's defining traits is not. Well, actually, no. Yeah, this works. He'd be trying to help Miracle with on the architecture side of things in some way. So possibly if he knew, or if Miracle would tell him about, like, I don't know, some exhibit or something that, for instance, that Miracle could be going to see, then Tern could go with her, maybe just like ask questions or be like a sounding board or whatnot, or something. I don't know.
Okay.
That's kind of being around even.
Well, any excuse to share her special interest with someone.
Yeah.
Certainly something that Miracle is open to. So yeah, it's up an extra dice.
Yep. Miracle's ready to info dump.
Yep.
Okay. And I'm gonna say that sounds like empathize to me, which is this same situation, dice rolling.
Okay,
I'll just try and click through to the right one. Okay.
Okay.
Oh my.
Yep,
Oh,
so
boy.
6 gets you 4 links, which Miracle can distribute as she sees fit.
You can have 3 of them. I'll take 1.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, I have no recollection. Very little recollection as to what these do. Oh, it says right here.
Page 56. But yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Basically, you can spend a link that you have with a particular character to help them.
Mm-hmm. You or linked protag recover 2 stress. The linked protag ignores 1 harm tag for, I think, only 1 roll. Assist them for free, basically, or prevent
their eclipse.
Yeah. On a 4/5.
If they roll a
Which I
4/5,
think-
you can prevent eclipse. Yeah.
We took Hold Back the Nightmare. I forget if that actually makes the last use redundant.
No, because you only hold back Nightmare for Transcendent.
Okay,
You,
so
you can eclipse without being transcended.
okay, so it only helps prevent eclipse if we're transcended at the time. Okay.
Yep. Either way, you've got plenty of stress resist there, or plenty of dice to help me out.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And that just leaves Carys.
Yes. Okay. First question: what was the harm that Tern took?
Level 1 harm, ringing ears. I forget exactly what did it. I think it was the ghost car.
I believe it was a
Something
gun
to do
going
with
off
that.
next to your head.
That's what it was.
Okay, so
A
first
dream
I'm gonna
gun.
help. I'm gonna help Tern recover from that. Just probably just checking in a lot during the let's say it's some kind of food drive. Just checking, seeing how they're doing. Got any residual like tinnitus or what have you? Make sure they're not like still shaken up. Being very empathetic.
Okay.
Not a strong suit to be fair, but you know, I've got a promise to live up to.
It's true. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So yep, help a friend recover. So what do you want to roll for this then?
Ooh, let's have a look. See, I'm not very good at that, but I suppose empathize makes the most sense.
Yep, emphasize works.
Position is irrelevant. Effect is irrelevant. No bonus dice. Wow!
Eesh.
Can I please roll okay?
Well, on the plus side, the second dice, the higher dice doesn't make any difference anyway.
Yep.
Okay, so that's 2 segments on Tern's recovery clock.
Hooray!
Yeah, I guess you try to sort of you're trying to reassure Tern, but ironically enough, they can't really hear you that well.
That begs a question.
Do you have? It's like, do you have any tonight from that gunshot? What? I can't hear you over.
Yeah, is do the effects that carry over from being injured in a dream manifest physically, or are they just mental?
I'm gonna
Like
say it's probably
physical,
like
spiritual stuff.
it's probably a sort of either or. Like, obviously, it's sort of in your mind, but it's in a sort of your mind makes it real sort of way.
You get baby drivered in the game. You get
So,
baby drivered in real
like
life.
I've forgotten the word. Parasympathetic was no. It'll come back to me later, and I'll interrupt us all and be like, I know the thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so my second thing is as an. Oh no, you were gonna say something?
Psychosomatic, you mean?
That's the word. I'll be so
Yeah.
clever.
Yeah.
But yeah, we saw via the dream thing. Good old Uncle Jack. Well, Uncle Jack in the police station. And
I believe
this has got Carys.
he was
There's a
watching.
restaurant or something.
Yeah, he was watching the constable whose
Yeah,
dream you're in.
the deal go down.
Yeah, when she was called in.
Yeah. So I'd like to do some investigating with regards to Uncle Jack. Like, what's the what does his day look like? What does he do with his time? Some
Okay.
subtle sort of questioning of the of family.
Okay, so you're gonna sort of just talk to your family, I guess, sort of work out, see if you can find out more about what Uncle Jack does. What do you want to roll for this?
I was thinking a little bit confess, sort of in a, I feel like I've drifted from the people I used to be really close to and I haven't seen in a long time.
Okay, so you're sort of opening yourself up to your family and hoping you get the information you need. Yep, that makes sense. presumably Carys actually sincerely means this. Roll away.
Yeah, man. Used to love Uncle Jack. What do you mean? There we go. There's my good rolls.
Yay!
Once one of us gets 2 dots in something, it's over. Crits all the way down.
Okay, so that's a 6. So that's 4 segments on the investigation track. And the result is also used as a gather information roll.
Working on the sheet, Enfys. Enfys. Marking them on the sheet.
Oh, that'll be in the conspiracy sheet, right?
Oh yeah, we have like 2
Yes.
crew sheets.
No, protagonist sheet.
Yeah. And
I guess that means we got to investigation tier 2.5.
Yes, I was just wondering that. Do I've done it? A lot of things to keep track of.
okay, so this means you get to ask some questions.
Ooh.
Oh, we're almost at tier 2. I have no idea what that means. Except we can do tier 2 jobs, I guess.
In theory, being able to handle the investigation because it's going to be a tier 2 regardless of whatever we do.
Okay.
It should be a tier 1, but it'll be a tier 2 because of the conspiracy.
Yeah.
Okay. You said something about being able to ask. So I can ask 2 questions and 1 follow-up, right?
If that's what it says in the rulebook, I'm just trying to hastily look up the rules for gather
That's
information.
what it says on my gather info box in the character sheet. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's it then. So obviously you ask your questions and you can ask a follow-up question for clarity. So
Okay.
ask up.
So I shall ask. What do I remember about Uncle Jack?
Well, you've known. Well, first of all, obviously he is your actual uncle, your maternal uncle to be exact. You've known him all your life. He's been a bit of an odd duck, mostly kept to himself. He works somewhere in the agricultural district. You're not sure about the specifics, but it's some sort of program to turn basically abandoned warehouses and sort of shopping centres into sort of hydroponic farm sort of systems. And he's quite happy to talk about his work. So you know a fair bit. You know a fair few of the details of the processes involved, but you don't know sort of any sort. Well, that's what you know from that.
Okay. Second question. Okay, do I have to pick from the gather info list or can we improvise?
You have to pick from the list because I have the ability to let me choose from anyone else's list, providing I'm talking to an object.
Okay.
I'm not sure if the follow-ups need to be from the list.
Yeah, the follow-ups can be sort of freeform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it must be
If a
related to
thing
the
says that you
information
get
just
follow-ups.
got.
That's fine. What is... What's different about Uncle Jack this time? What does to compared to previous timelines?
Okay, in this time, obviously you've seen this play out in multiple timelines.
Mm-hmm.
In this one, Uncle Jack is a lot more withdrawn. He seems conflicted about something.
Ooh. Okay, and my one follow-up is relating to the stuff that he does as a profession. Has that ever included a connection with the police? Has he ever had to like consult for them in any capacity?
You know for certain that it's had nothing to do with the police.
Interesting. Okay, well that's all my investigations on Uncle Jack for right now.
Yeah. The nearest being a few cases where the the project was vandalised or had people break in, but that's not really anything of any particular note.
Yeah. That doesn't. That's more a consequence of him being in charge of the building than his expertise coming into it.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, well that's two things. Two downtimes, I mean, I've done.
Okay, that's everyone's downtime then. Well, with that out of the way, it's time for the scary part.
Time to investigate Phyll, probably.
So, how well exactly does your character know Phyll? Nolis?
I hadn't decided that. Can I roll a d6 in chat and say that's how much out of 6?
If you want to.
Not very well at all.
I mean, he's one of the two people that you know, like, are entangled with at some junctures. Probably know at least somewhat, right?
I guess, I think maybe Tern got involved with the conspiracy some other way that will be determined at another time. And the conspiracy put him in contact with Phyll to give him like missions or whatever they want him to do, I guess. But he doesn't actually know much about Phyll outside of that.
Yeah, so Phyll was basically your handler for the conspiracy. And basically what you were sort of instructed to do, it was mostly sort of grunt work. So you were never sort of trusted with the details of anything. You were just asked to maybe pick up packages or documents and shuttle them around. Occasionally, you'd just be called in to, for just general sort of manpower things like helping move stuff out of buildings or into them, or, maybe even the odd sort of, glorified gopher. So, just fetching coffee and stuff for higher ranking members.
Mm-hmm.
Occasionally drop something in the lake.
Possibly.
Yeah. You well, and obviously sort of getting involved in the fishing club was how you were sort of pulled into the conspiracy.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, how are you going to turn the tables?
Yeah, I was afraid this was going to be left up to me. this is kind of out there, but the one loose idea I had was that Phyll and maybe also Tern, like happen to be like taking a completely unrelated class that's like yoga, philosophy, something like that. Maybe both. And they do meditation sessions, which kind of links into the dream traveling aspect of what's been going on. And since like only really general proximity is required for traveling into somebody's dream, daydream, whatever, it might work if the team is just kind of in the vicinity but not necessarily even in the class, just kind of loitering outside for I don't know, a couple minutes, however long we take in there. Maybe time, I would imagine time probably works a lot different, so in theory probably a lot of time isn't really needed.
Interesting. So basically, you're going to sort of wait around while Phil's sort of doing meditation or something relaxing, and hope that's enough to sort of slip into her dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How do the rest of you feel about this plan?
I don't think it's something they'll be expecting, so yeah, let's try it against her.
It leaves Carys edgy and restless because Carys prefers more proactive approaches. Less waiting, more doing.
Yeah, I
But
guess
we are following Tern's lead on this.
Unfortunately, yeah. In part, I suppose this is kind of an experiment to see if this can be done with this loose of a connection thing. But like in theory, Tern's been instructed at least a little bit in this thing by the conspiracy, so hopefully he would have at least an educated guess on whether this might possibly work.
Okay. So yeah, we'll go to the engagement roll then. So, the number of dice used for the engagement roll depends heavily on the circumstances. Now, the first thing it says is, there's always hope. The protagonists start with 1d for every mission, but of course, because of the conspiracy, you also start with minus 1d for now on the engagement roll.
Yep, Maze of Dream says no, there isn't.
Yep, Mace of Dream says, nope, sorry, it's hopeless. So, what
I'll
do you
just
say
double check
this?
that all that at the moment, so yeah.
Yeah, I don't
what
think
causes that problem.
Yeah, I don't think furthering the investigation track interferes with that anyway.
So, downsides we have at the moment, because the full conspiracy that go all foes +1 scale, all flight results are 1 level worse. -1 effect. That's the overseer side of things, so we can't target overseers like easily. And for example, this one's really badly laid out. Foes +1 scale, foes +1 scale, flight results. Yeah, so I don't think we actually have a penalty to the track as the problem. Not natively because of Maze of Dreams. Just all our foes are stronger than us.
Oh, yep.
Or at least +1 scale, like depending what tier we're jumping into, I guess. I'm assuming we're doing a tier 1 investigation.
Yeah.
We're a tier 2 group. Oh no, we're tier 1 group. We didn't finish the tier 2 track.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Phyll is going to be a tier 1 investigation because, as far as you're aware, she's a fairly low-ranking member of the conspiracy.
Yeah.
Tern knows for a fact she is a member of the conspiracy. There's not going to be any nasty surprises here.
Tern was basically the gopher's gopher, maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Is the mission particularly heroic or noble?
I don't think so. Information gathering.
Yeah. And on the other hand, it's not really sort of reflecting badly on you. Like, no one's worst traits are showing through here.
Nope.
Is the mission following on detail?
What is our mission objective here at this juncture? I just need to vaguely know what it is we're trying to do. Like, aside from just jump someone's brain because it's there.
I think potentially we could learn what Phyll's link with Welkin is, or we could learn for sure exactly how high ranked in the conspiracy Phyll actually is, and like for instance who she reports to, I suppose.
Let me rephrase.
Like,
how do we fail this mission?
Oh, sorry.
How do we fail this mission?
By not learning those things? Or
this is largely information gathering, primarily about Phyll. So if we come away with this with no information or the conclusion that
because like the mission must have a clear goal, like it can't just be information gather.
Yeah, you're basically trying to establish where Phyll sort of stands in the conspiracy.
Yeah,
and maybe perhaps what her connection to Welkin is. And
okay,
yeah, and you also probably want to know if she had anything to do with your contact getting killed.
Yeah, like we're pretty certain there is a connection there. We just need to know what that connection is and if she's responsible for any of the problems we're having. Whether or not we act on that in the moment, that's something else, but...
Yeah. Okay. Is the mission following through on details from your investigation? I'd say so. Since it's following directly from what you were doing last session, and obviously, it's what Tern already knows.
Yep.
So that's 1 dice.
Are we acting rashly or on very little information? Maybe.
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah, you could argue. I suppose you could argue because you're not even sure if you can enter someone's dream this way. I'll be nice and let you have the dice because you haven't got any so far.
Ah, Bastion.
Okay. Does this mission determine... Sorry, go on.
Oh, I was just going to do what you were doing.
Okay. Does this mission determine the fate of a friend? I'm going to give you a dice because there might be some problems with Tern if this goes pear-shaped.
Yes.
Oh. I didn't realize that counted the protagonist.
Yeah, of course it does.
Yeah, you're all friends canonically.
We took the thing that does the thing when we do that. Affects the fate of a friend, didn't we? We gain +2 dice for it instead of +1.
Oh, neat.
Moment of crisis.
Oh, that'll be in the thingy, wouldn't it? When factoring your engagement roll, if you answer yes to does this determine the fate of a friend, gain 2 dice instead of 1. Very nice. Also gain +1 dice when you help a friend recover from emotional harm. So that should have been
emotional
flat
harm.
roll.
All harm is
physical.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah. Okay, never mind. Ignore me then. Carry on. +2 dice instead of +1 in this situation.
Yeah, I will say because it took place in a dream, it would actually count as emotional harm.
Success.
This game has damage types. Oh dear.
all of our harm would be emotional harm then, Brie. Like there wouldn't be a case where it wouldn't be emotional harm.
Okay.
Yeah, it does actually sort of say that in the guide for this playset, but it should be sort of like consequences should be emotional in nature. So
Yeah.
I'm technically following the
Okay.
rules.
So we are currently on 3 dice. Are troubles from the protagonist's mundane lives getting in the way of this mission?
Not mine.
And certainly not Kansas either.
Potentially, well, no, it's not getting in the way of it. If anything, we're taking advantage of something from Tern's mundane life, I suppose.
Okay, I'll give you that then. Does the mission's tier exceed the current tier of the investigation? No, you're fine there.
Oh, that's what it's for penalty, not a bonus.
Are there any other elements that we want to consider due to circumstances or events in your world?
I'm tempted to take away 1 dice just because you're not entirely sure if this is even going to work, but
Valid. Would Tern's apprehension have an impact on this?
okay. Well, Tern, how do you sort of feel about this mission?
Quite worried, I think. But what is? I'm confused as to what the question is.
Basically, do you think sort of Tern's personal connection with the target is going to sort of make this more difficult?
No. He doesn't know her that well.
Okay,
He's just a little
that's
bit
fair
scared of the situation,
enough. Yeah, I
But
think that's fair
that's,
enough.
but willing to tackle that danger, I guess.
So that's a -1 because of the uncertain way that we're approaching it.
Yeah, so you're down to 2 dice.
Yes. Marvelous.
Flee. Would someone like to roll, or shall I just use physical dice?
Ooh, physical clacky clacks. Clack clack.
I mean,
Okay.
we're posting for the audience, so presumably we want
Yeah, I
us to roll, don't
suppose.
we?
Oh yeah, I suppose so.
Go on, Keith. You do it.
Why me?
So what was?
Not me leading the mission.
Because you said it.
Okay, so
Finally, roll this.
so that was we should roll from the sheet, or
Yes, roll from the sheet.
okay.
I don't
2
know where
dice.
it is on the sheet.
Yep, number of dice, 2 of them. Heyo.
Damn it.
Nice.
Hooray!
Okay.
And we're doing an explore subject's dream mission according to the book.
Yep. You're basically exploring it just to sort of decide if work out if this person's a suspect, well, part of the conspiracy, or might maybe knows someone who is. So yeah, we cut to the action. You've got 6, which is a good result. So you start in a controlled position when things start. So, I guess you sorry, just to clarify, is Tern also in this sort of yoga class, or
I'm gonna say yes because I feel like it would be it's pertinent to the dream aspect of the conspiracy thing and the whole series conceit. I'm gonna say yes. Maybe he joined this class as part of being in the conspiracy, so that potentially there could be other people in on it in the same class, but he doesn't know.
okay, that makes sense.
That doesn't
So-
sound particularly controlled, though.
Yeah,
It's
well,
getting scarier
that's the
the
plan.
longer
I mean,
I think about it. Yeah.
this is the plan, not how it's executed. So, what I'll say is, hold on, I'll just switch the music to something a little bit less cheerful.
The more I talk, the more reasons I come up with that to believe that we've bitten off more than we can chew.
You gotta
Okay.
believe.
Yeah. So presumably, Miracle and Carys are sort of hiding nearby. Like you sort of presumably you're in sort of this is like a gym or something on the university campus, and maybe you're sort of just sitting around in like the canteen area or something.
I think given how strong Miracle is at beam walking, I think she's a fair distance away, to be honest. Like, not physically present. You've managed to get the time and the location over to her and tell her roughly what to look for in Phil's subconscious. And I think Miracle is actually like out in the quad, just sitting under a tree somewhere, like outside the gym, a fair distance away. So that's representing her control. She's not even registering in Phil's subconscious.
Yeah, we don't really have it nailed down what the range on this is, and the ideas for how long it is keep getting farther.
I mean, it's dream world. It could theoretically be infinite.
Yeah, I will say.
Sun logic, it's like infinite, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Or well, citywide at least.
Yeah. I will say Miracle can try this, but there might be consequences for it later down the line.
I was gonna suggest just kind of loitering outside the hallway, like in the hallway.
It's going to be real weird for someone to be sitting there dozing out in the hallway.
Yeah.
But I am also the oracle of the dream, so
I didn't realize if it required us to be unconscious for. I didn't realize if it whether it required us to be unconscious for like an extended period of time, or if like the whole dream invasion thing happened like very quickly, or what. I forget if we had to find a spot to hide when we invaded Officer Jenny's stream.
We sat in our own car and dozed.
Oh. Okay then.
Yeah. What's Carys doing then?
Probably sat at a table with some textbooks and a notepad out, and it's just sort of taking notes on uni work type stuff.
Okay. So, Miracle and Carys are basically sort of, trying to sort of start, tap into Phil's dreams as she's sort of meditates herself. Tern. So you're obviously both doing that from elsewhere, so you don't see what's happening directly. Tern. You sort of go through the motions of this class, and you just sort of just try to relax, and just try to sort of let your mind drift into the other and enter Phil's dreams. And you just keep trying and trying and trying, but you've all had some experience of this, and you sort of realize basically she's just not there. It's like you've just flipped the Bluetooth on your phone and it's not detecting anything. And this is basically how you all discover that the subject has actually got to be physically asleep for this to work. But on to the good news. After the class is over, you wander into the it's not really a changing, it's more like a locker room than a changing room. And you find, from the exertion of the exercise, she's basically just sat on a bench and fallen asleep. And at this point, Carys and Miracle, as well as Tern takes the opportunity, and Carys and Miracle just, you get that ping, and you find the sort of mist congealing around you, and you're on a infinitely long pier.
Okay, mission failed successfully.
Looks like home.
So, you all sort of appear as a group because you have that sort of connection with each other. So you can find yourself in a dream relatively easily. You might want to jot that down.
Yep. Okay, first order of business on entering, Tern is going to try to disguise himself within the dream, I guess.
Okay. How are you disguising yourself?
This is the experimental session, I guess. I just want to poke at everything and try everything.
Okay, fair enough then. What do you like to roll to sort of disguise yourself then?
Conceal.
Yeah. So you sort of trying. What are you actually doing here? You trying to just make yourself. You just will yourself to look different in the dream, or?
Somewhat, I guess. I guess I would ask the other two to, like, for help on, just kind of looking at me in the dream is like, is my avatar changing? Is it changing? Does it work? And kind of will himself to, like, will himself to look different. And, I think one of the kind of like minor tells that the dream world forces on to Tern is it kind of pushes him into it kind of I think it gives him like a old-timey fisherman's gear that he can like will to like not be there or have less of it because of like something about like his family history or something possibly.
Okay, yeah, we did establish this that he sort of does impose your family history on you a bit.
Yeah, so he's kind of trying to will his like not only his wardrobe in the dream world but his like physical appearance as well, like just to look either different or at least anonymous.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. What do you say you're rolling?
Conceal, which I have 1 dot in, but I want to push myself, I think.
Okay, yeah, I'll say conceal. This will be risky.
Just for when and if we run into Phyll and she sees me.
Okay, I'll say this is going to be risky limited. So unless you roll particularly well, basically, if it works, there may be some sort of tells, which mean Phyll might be able to recognise you if she gets the opportunity to do so. But yep, we'll see what the dice say. And you say you're pushing yourself?
Yeah. And there's no trading risky for desperate or anything in this game, is there? I forget if... I feel like I remember we checked and that's not a thing in this one? Like the Risen Blades?
Yeah, it's not written up as that.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
You can give yourself an extra dice by taking 2 stress or the poison promise.
Yeah.
I'm going for the stress.
Okay, unless anyone wants to suggest a poison promise. Okay.
Just being instantly recognised.
Because that'd just be the result of fail.
Yeah, that's just an instant fail.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Mark down 2 stress, add an extra dice, and roll away.
Yep. My stress tracker was empty, so I want to use it. It was risky limited. Okay. Not transcendent. And 1 bonus die. And...
Seriously?
Great.
Yep, that's 2 6s, which is of course a crit, which means not only do you get everything you wanted, you get a little bit more.
I'm invisible.
Yeah, you're 100%.
It was limited, so
yeah,
I found the transparency slider.
Yeah. Okay, so you weren't sure this would work out, but it actually goes perfectly. Like, you're completely anonymous. There's no way she'll recognise you unless you deliberately reveal yourself. Well done. Curse your bones. Okay, so yeah, Tern's immediately disguised himself. What are the rest of you doing?
We'll walk along this pier, see where it leads, what Phyll thinks of the city and the world in general. Let's see what's on Phil's mind.
Yeah, Carys would just be paying attention to the surroundings and seeing what symbols come up. Well, yeah, it's very, very similar to what miracles do when it's just a lot of
Okay.
paying attention.
Yeah, so
What is the state of mind that we have entered?
Okay, so you just sort of walk along the pier. The things you notice immediately, it's sort of it seems to vary. Like sometimes it'll look like a massive pier, you know, the kind you might have like a pleasure pier on, and basically be practically an open-ended building going out over the water. Sometimes it just looks like a small wooden pier, and like it's sort of dream logic, so it just sort of fades into you don't quite sort of put your finger on the point where it changes, but it's just sort of changes as you're walking along, and it felt like, and obviously you only have your own memories to contradict the possibility it was that way. Oh sorry, it wasn't that way. It's a sort of a very surreal feeling. There's a lot of sort of fishing gear set up. But no one's sort of, operating it. It's just fishing poles sat next to chairs. You can see sort of electronic devices that sort of beep when there's tension on the rods and that sort of thing. There's buckets full of bait, which appear to just be sort of crawling out and escaping. And there's also a crab bucket.
Single track mind on Phyll. Lots of fishing. Not many people though. We think something along this line, there would be at least someone in these dreams. Is Phyll much of a social person, Tern?
Hard to say, not so much, but
I mean, she runs a fishing club. She must be at least somewhat sociable, right?
let's see if this pier connects to land at some point. And I think Tern will just pick a direction on the pier that doesn't look like it ends immediately and start walking.
Okay. Would someone like to roll for this? You're basically trying to find the end of the pier that connects to land.
Perceive sounds likely.
Yeah. You're basically trying to perceive the dream on its sort of own terms. That sounds like a perceive roll. I'll call this risky standard.
What's the downside if we fail?
Step in the drink, maybe.
Yeah, you'll probably find the wrong end of the pier.
Somebody can spend a link if they want to. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't have a link with you, do I?
I've got
think
one,
I gave both
and I'm
of
holding on to it for something a bit more impactful.
Fair. I think both of y'all ended up with links with me. I forget.
One each, I think, and
Yeah.
we gave you the rest.
Oh. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just roll with one die then, I guess. No.
Okay, roll away.
Risky standard?
Risky standard.
Wow, that's taken a while to go through. Oh, welp.
Okay.
Blue I think.
Not
Okay.
necessarily.
Yeah. So Tern, you sort of look down either end of the pier, and you sort of look. Basically, you sort of look for any sign of land. And after a few minutes, you decide to start walking confidently in a particular direction. But you quickly find yourself actually walking over the side of the pier. you manage to catch yourself just in time. But you're still sort of precariously balanced. And you're just sort of on the verge of slipping.
Oh, can't have that.
Okay.
I'm going to grab some type of rope and run over to try and, I guess, fish Tern out of his situation.
No, yeah, I almost fell in, I think. Right?
Yeah, but it's
Yes,
more the fact
yeah.
that I'm using the rope to support myself so I can grab you back.
Oh, okay.
Okay, what do you like to roll for this miracle?
Unfortunately, that sounds like Defy. I don't have any dots in Defy.
Oh dear.
Oh
I'll
dear.
call this risky standards. Do you want to push yourself, take a poison promise?
I think I'm going to have to push myself. 2 stress, yeah?
Yep, 2 stress. And you can just add an extra die.
Yep. Risky standard, you say?
Risky standard.
Nice.
4, 5.
Okay.
Complication or consequence.
Yep.
Or I end up in desperate position.
Yep, still a complication. But yep, you manage to sort of secure the rope and grab Tern just as he's sort of, sort of hovering, he's just sort of, Tern just sort of starts stepping over the edge and he just sort of catches himself, but obviously the pier's slippery and you just manage to catch him just in time as he starts to fall.
I've got you.
Okay, and Tern, as you sort of start to fall, you feel yourself sort of slipping and falling forward until Miracle catches you. And you actually sort of end up looking below the pier. And what you see is mostly just empty water. But there's a small sort of rock in the middle, directly beneath the pier. And sat on that rock is Phyll. And she just sort of stops and looks up at you.
That's something.
Did you want lowering down or pulling back up?
I'm definitely gonna get back onto the thing and definitely gonna let Miracle pull me back up, and just kind of let both of you know as quietly as possible that that Phil's under there.
Yeah. As you explain this Tern, you'll hear sort of in a stage whisper, "Shh! You're scaring the fishes."
Interesting. Okay, so there's a lot of clues here. And Carys's current thinking is that this is either a person who is feeling isolated from the people around her, or in some way trapped by the circumstance and you're not in control as such. You're very alone. Can I roll analyze to piece together the clues from the various symbologies of the dream to establish if she's feeling sort of trapped or disconnected in some way?
Yep, that sounds reasonable. We'll call this risky standard.
Sure.
And if you fail this roll, you'll probably draw some unwanted attention.
No bonus dice.
Yep. Obviously, you can push yourself or take a poison. Okay.
I considered it. I was considering it.
Okay, that is a 5. So, you sort of cast your eyes around. The pun is, of course, intended. And you sort of realise...
Yeah.
The sort of bait buckets, at first you thought, sort of the worms and the smaller fish and everything were just randomly escaping from the unattended buckets. But you realise it's all sort of flowing to the island. It's actually sort of falling in. It's dropping into the ocean, and it's actually the rock that Phyll seemed to be sort of perched on isn't actually a rock. It's a massive pile of bait. After a moment of thinking, you sort of realise it's a fairly literal metaphor. She's taken the bait, but from who?
Oh my! I would like to borrow the rope for Miracle.
Oh yeah.
And
First let's start.
yeah, go on.
Consequence. Start a 4-part clock. The horde is alerted, and fill in 1 slice.
I don't like that. That doesn't sound like fun.
Wait, sorry.
Oh,
Actually,
dear.
let's call it the fish is scared.
That's even worse.
Now that we have the context of the first one, the second one sounds scarier.
You can't tell us the fish is alerted.
And what they're only fish. What are they going to do about it?
Someone who has alerted the fish. Right.
Okay, sorry. You were saying, Enfys?
The next thing I'd want to do is to get down there alongside Phyll.
Okay, so you want to go down there and speak to her?
Yeah.
Okay. What's your plan?
Well, I'm passing you the rope, so I'm helping out apparently.
Okay.
And spend 1 stress.
Yeah. Oh yeah, presumably you don't have a link with them, do you?
Oh,
No, I don't think we do.
I do have a link.
No, I didn't. I didn't do a downtime to connect to you.
Yeah, I can't
I'm the
help
only
out,
one
can
that did links.
I mean, you might be
Oh,
able to
right.
if you take stress.
I? Oh
I
yeah.
don't know
I
how
can-
that works.
Oh right, what are we trying to do? I can spend links. I got y'all gave me so many of them.
I'm lowering myself down to Phyll's level and asking if I can join her quietly so I don't scare the fishies.
That sounds kind of important. I think I would like to spend one of my 2 with Carys to give them die with that.
Okay, that sounds good. So Carys, what are you rolling for this? This will be both sort of this will be sort of covering literal and physical closeness. So you're basically trying to approach her and trying to get down to her at the same time.
I think this would probably be empathize.
Okay, yep, that makes sense.
I wish I could make it a confess, but I can't see any way that this is me opening up to her.
Yeah, she
This
doesn't
is more
really
me-
know. Yeah, this
Yeah.
isn't. She isn't really someone who has any sort of known connection with you. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And it's not really logical either. It's so I can't even argue or analyze.
Yeah. This is going to be risky standard. Consequence is basically going to be if you fail this, you might antagonize her.
Yeah. I'll take 2 stress to get an extra die on top of Nolus's one though.
Okay, take 2 stress, and that's 2 bonus dice.
Yep.
Is that a? I think this is an assist. I don't know.
So risky
I don't
standard.
remember where the link stuff is in the book.
You just get a dice if you spend one of your links.
Yeah.
Okay, it isn't. It isn't. What do you call it? Isn't exclusive with pushing or anything.
It's
Oh
not
right, no,
mutually
yeah. I think
exclusive, no.
assist is always. I think even in Blaze assist is in addition to either push or Devil's Bargain.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Poison Promise and stresses. That's
Okay, so
the same die.
just to check I've got everything correct. Risky standard plus 2 dice.
Yep, that's right.
Hello.
We like our box cars here.
It just keep. Come on. Seriously,
They
roll
can't be
20.
allowed to keep getting away with this.
Yep, roll 20. I'm trying to challenge my players here. I'm trying to create a heart-rending scenario, and you're just giving them everything they want. What's the fun in that?
Thank you, roll 20.
Well, okay, I guess, yep, Tern sort of holds onto the ropes securely, and sort of, as you sort of lure down, you also feel yourself, you feel like the pier just sort of shrinks, so you're basically being lured down directly onto the, sort of, bait island, which, it sort of expands, so there's actually space for you to land on it, and you're stood face to face with Phyll. She looks at you. She's a sort of fairly lanky woman. She's dressed in, just a plain shirt and jeans with a sort of, the gilet covered in pockets and various fishing tackles and other fishing accessories all over it.
Oh,
and
really?
of course,
I don't remember whether I've heard it said aloud or not. So never mind.
Gilet.
well, she's your NPC turn if you've got anything to add.
No. Sorry.
Okay, that's fine. Yep. She sort of pulls off a bucket hat, revealing sort of a mess of loosely tied hair, and she regards you, kind of tired looking, and says, "Hi."
I say hi back, very quietly. Respect if she's.
Yeah. Well, thanks for being careful about the fish.
Of course. It's just
Yeah.
we take the small pleasures where we can find them, right?
Yeah. A lot of people say this is a relaxing hobby, but I think it's quite exciting. Any moment the fish could bite, and it could be the big one, the one. And I guess there's a bit of feeling of power there. I mean, you've set the bait. You're the you might not feel like maybe you're a hunter, but you're hunting the fish. I mean, that puts me in control, right?
I look away down towards the water, and I ask her, who's the kind of person that would make us not feel that?
Well, say you're maybe you're not fishing but with a rod. Maybe you're on a trawler, following the skipper's orders. Your job isn't to catch the fish so much as empty the fish from the nets and gut each one by hand. In theory, you're still fishing, but it feels more like you're just part of glorified factory line. I know, maybe you feel a bit bad for the fish. A bit guilty towards the fish. Do the fish really want to go into a can? I'd assume not. I mean...
I get the feeling the fish are a metaphor.
I'm being very subtle. Because this is the second session, so we're very deep in it.
It sounds to me like you could do with a friend, someone who wants, like you, to take things back to the way they were meant to be.
Yeah.
When you could just sit and fish the way you're meant to fish.
Been there, done that. Talked to, thought I made a friend. Just saw me as another fish. And with that, she sort of looks into the water, and you realise there's a large, dark shape sort of lurking in there. Just on the it's submerged, but it just sort of comes very close to the island, almost as if it's waiting for something.
Uh-oh. Bit of a swallow. Oh, that's apprehensive. I hold out a hand. Literally and figuratively. And I say, maybe me and my friends could do with another friend.
Okay, I'm going to say because of your crit, she takes your hand. You don't need to roll anything else.
Oh wow! I give a little tug to the rope.
Okay.
You got to start lifting you up then.
Yep.
That's the way.
Yep. So Tern, you can start tugging on the rope, and because this is all running on dream logic, you don't have to worry about sort of physical strength here. You can just start pulling them up.
Aye, aye.
Just want to reinforce that logic of group of friends, and now we're pulling you with us.
Yeah. So, Carys, as soon as her feet start to leave the pilot, sort of beta island, it starts to sort of fall away, and the shape in the water grows larger.
Uh-oh.
As a huge pair of jaws appear.
As it were.
Yep. This is easily the width of the entire pier, and it just starts coming out of the water towards you.
Oh.
Someone might want to do something. Oh, speaking of, I better change the music.
Okay. I've done a bunch of stuff. Does anybody else have any ideas before I jump in with something?
I have no ideas here, sorry.
I have kind of an idea.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's a good one.
What is it?
Turn into a bird and try and kite it away by transcending, I think.
Okay. So yep, you want to transcend by sort of bringing Stormcrow into yourself?
Something like that, yeah, I guess.
Okay. So what does it look like when you transcend? Fortunately, Theatre of the Mind
I'm
has
not
an infinite
totally
animation budget.
Let's see. I guess let me see where check my notes. Yep. Giant crow with like regular black feathered bird, except it's got blue tinges on the feathers and there are crackles of electricity around it. It just kind of extends from Tern's back as it takes its shape, and then kind of melds itself over him, and just kind of absorbs him, I guess. Like his arms and legs are kind of poke out of the form occasionally, but I guess he just kind of sprints off the pier and towards the fish and tries to draw its attention, and draw it away from the rest of the group, I think.
Okay. What do you like
Like
to roll
he's
for
not even
this?
trying to attack it, just have its attention and get it fixated on chasing him.
Okay. What do you want to roll for this?
I think defy.
Okay, Defy sounds good. This is going to be risky. It's going to have standard effect because you're currently transcended. So that gives you, it means you can sort of better sort of deal with the these sort of dream entities. Because obviously the car in the last session was a bit more sort of grounded, so it wasn't as powerful. But this is a full-on like sort of figment of the imagination here that could sort of really harm you.
This is like the car was just kind of like an object in the dream, but this sounds like a full inner demon.
Yeah, this is basically a manifestation of Phyll's issues. So, yeah, this is actually quite dangerous. But yeah, you're transcended, so you'll be fine. Yeah, do you want to push yourself, take it up? Well, actually, I suppose you're transcended, so you're using that up, aren't you?
I'm not really sure how. I don't remember / know all of the mechanical effects of transcendence. I'm not sure how many it has, other than the abilities that we have related to it.
Yeah. Well, first of all, obviously, you will have a transcendence ability by default.
Yep.
Which
I have
one did you
the
pick?
Indomitable. So I can. So when I resist a consequence while transcended, I suffer at most 2 stress.
Cool. Oh yeah. If you want to look on page 53, those are the benefits of transcending.
Oh, okay, 56. I have the PDF on my phone.
Mainly being able to use armor,
but because
and
page
your
numbers
third
are
and fourth
mile up,
dots.
it's gonna be 56 or so. Sorry.
Mainly, it's being able to use your armor and being able to use your third and fourth dots in your skills, and your transcendent
Armor.
skills.
Plus, of course, you can actually, as it says, increased effect against supernatural opposition. So you can actually sort of do something against this creature.
I didn't write down in my WordPad version of my sheet what series things we got. Oh yeah, we got Hold Back the Nightmare, but I don't see the one that I have for... Oh wait, no, yeah. Hold Back the Nightmare is the...
Yeah, how about the Nightmare is our shared one?
I don't have it written down. I gotta find which sheet it's on. Transcendent abilities. Okay, there it is. Oh, right. That affects Eclipse rolls. Well, Transcendent and Eclipse, you get to. Okay, so.
And your person's
it's
transcendent ability as well.
So for transcendence, do I fill in one of the do I basically just get 4 rolls in transcendence before basically a super mode ends? Because there's 4 dots in the transcendence tracker thingy.
Yeah, there should be a bar for transcendence that sort of decays every time you take an action while transcended. And yeah, when that runs out, you it ends.
Yeah, I'm gonna push myself for +1 die for this defy roll.
Okay.
I don't. Well, actually, no. Yeah. What does the poison have on offer actually for poison promise?
Poison promise. Okay. Poison promise. This will break your. How about this? It'll break your disguise and complicate your relationship with Phyll.
I'm taking the stress.
Okay.
I'm super scared of accidentally completely blowing my cover.
Okay.
Okay, so defy. Did you say it was risky standard or?
Yep, risky standard because obviously you're transcended.
Okay, risky standard. Transcendent. Well, yes, but yes, (1). So that doesn't change anything, but whatever. Bonus die. Okay, 1 bonus die. And can we keep the train going? Let's find out.
Oh, thank God. Okay, so that's a 4, a success with a success with a complication. So, yep, you successfully draw the this massive shark away. So, Carys, you and Phyll are safely pulled up onto the pier. But Tern, in your sort of merged with your avatar form, the shark sort of leaps out of the water and takes a massive bite at you.
Eesh.
Okay, and
Oh, go on.
so this obviously this is a dream. It doesn't do sort of physical harm to you, but you just feel the sensation of having your your bones crushed by being bitten by a massive creature, and it's
Can
leaves
I
you
try
feeling
to interrupt that?
yeah, you can. Basically, obviously any consequence can be resisted, and any of your teammates can resist a consequence, can basically take on the consequences and resist it themselves. So mechanically what you do is you basically put yourself in danger instead, and then you could resist that consequence normally, if that makes sense.
Yes, okay. So I have an ability called Rewind Return.
Oh.
Special ability, so I assume I have to be in the dream to use it, but it's not the transcendent one.
Okay.
It says you have been through this timeline at least once before. Flashbacks cost 1 less stress than normal. How did this go wrong the first time? Well, presumably the bird got Big Bird got munched. So what I'm thinking is I flash back to the point where I was being lowered down, and I say to Tern, what I've already said is that, look, when you transcend, be prepared to move quickly because a shark's gonna jump out of the water. Be fast. Be aware and be fast.
Okay.
I believe in you.
Just spoil the
Yeah.
part of the dream, huh?
Spoiler: your shark bait.
Okay.
All right.
So basically, you are. Yeah. You're basically
and
sort
then
of.
in
Yeah.
in present time, I'll call out, remember.
Okay. Yep. So basically, obviously this works. So Tern, you remember the warning and dodge to the side, and it just chomps empty air instead of you.
I think.
But okay.
Okay. I don't have something else that actually interacts with this exactly, but I feel like because of reasons, even though Tern is helped by Carys shouting "Remember," Tern would kind of suddenly yell back, "Don't tell me what to do," even as he uses the advice, which is not very in character for Tern as Carys and Miracle know him.
Ah, Stormcrow. Yeah, Stormcrow's in charge here. Okay, but yeah, Stormcrow nonetheless dodges. However, Carys.
It has a claw. Yeah. It has a claw on the wheel at least.
Yeah. So yeah, Carys, unfortunately, as a result of this, you sort of basically have to replay this scene in your mind several dozen times, and now you've just sort of been thinking of Tern getting got by the shark, which is obviously not great. So that's going to be level 1 harm rattled, but of course you can resist this. So we're going to call this Moon because consequences from despair and heartbreak. Actually, no, we'll call it Sun because it's consequences of violence and fear. So yeah, by default you're going to take 6, assuming you're still resisting it. By default that's going to be 6 stress, and you can roll to reduce that.
Yeah, I want to resist that.
Okay.
Crazy?
Roll Sun. You could just take the harm if you wanted.
No, that would immediately eclipse me.
Oh, okay. No, the harm is just level 1 harm. That's harm, not stress.
Oh, right. Hang on, I'm confused.
Yeah, so you've basically, when you protect an ally, you basically take the harm onto yourself instead, and then you can resist it the same as they could.
Oh, I see. I understand.
So to resist is basically the same as obligation, as in.
Even though it's a game with stress in it, this isn't Darkest Dungeon. Stress isn't pushed on you. It's something that you choose to either take or risk taking.
Exactly.
I should take the harm. It'll be fine.
Okay, so you're just going to take the harm.
Yeah. Level 1 rattled.
Yeah, level 1 harm rattled. Yep. So you're rattled from remembering multiple timelines and warning Tern which way to dodge. So yeah, the shark's been sort of drawn away. Tern, you're a bit of a distance from the others, and you can sort of see the shark. And now that it's sort of breached a bit, and you saw more of it, you realise it's not like just a shark. It looks more like a sort of a humanoid with shark features, but also huge.
I know this DC villain.
He dated Constantine.
It's true.
Literally the only thing I know about either one of those characters.
Right,
Yep.
so...
Carys, Phyll is basically sort of shrinking back in fear from the shark. As one last sort of benefit from your crit, I'm going to say you sort of instinctively realise this represents someone she's afraid of.
I had got that, to be fair.
Yeah. That's why, I figured you'd have got it, but,
Yeah. I place myself between Phyll and the shark, with my back to the shark. Put my hands on her shoulders. Slow, deep breath, and I say, "Who is that?"
Okay. Oh, and this might actually be a good time to take a break before she makes the big reveal.
Da, da, da.
Namely, because I need to come up with a member of the conspiracy for you.
Ooh.
Yep.
So
That's how it goes.
10 minutes okay if we come back to 1:45?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's
sure.
fine.
It gives me a chance to look the thing back up that I had up earlier.
Yeah. Break screen. Yep. So yeah, we're on the break screen. You're exactly as visible as you were before, i.e. not. And also everyone can still hear you. Unless you mute your microphone, of course. I'll switch the music back to chill because break time.
Break
And
time,
yep.
break time.
Yep, see you all in 10 minutes.
Yep.
I'm going to take my estrogen.
I'm gonna BRB.
Yeah, take your meds.
Make sure you make sure you walk around a bit if you've been sitting still for a while. And if you've been listening to this while doing something else, I hope it's gone well.
Hello.
Hello, Enfys.
It's a Keith. How you doing, Keith?
Not bad, not. How have you been?
Yeah, I'm alright. Been a so-so week.
Oh, you're so weak.
Mm-hmm.
We have to correct that. How can we make it a great week for an Enfys?
Well, you haven't got very long left.
The weekend are the impactful days of the week, though. So
Maybe. What was I doing before I went and got tea?
playing a girl by Moonlight actual play on Twitch.
Yeah, a bit more specific than that, you goober.
Playing Tern, who is time traveler.
Well, that's not what I meant, and you know it. I will smite you. Okay, so we are changing Phyll from a suspect to identified.
Presumably, or maybe not. Like, they might not be an actual suspect.
I believe they were a suspect just based off the fact that they were confirmed to have a connection to the dead link, right?
Only if we identify the complicity. If we don't identify complicity, they don't get added to the board. It's starting to sound like they're not actually part of it, they're being used by it. But if we work out who this fish represents, we might be able to identify them instead. Surely that's how the dream's working here, because otherwise we would be confronting Phyll at this juncture by talking to them directly in their dream. Her even, sorry, pronouns are hard.
Yeah, because basically Phyll was relaying orders to Tern when he was in a conspiracy and stuff. He doesn't know to what extent she was making any of those decisions or passing them on to other people or what. So a part of this is trying to kind of suss out like how far up she is and so on, as well as find out anything we can about other people connected to her in the conspiracy. Like anybody else that she relayed orders to or relayed them from or whatever.
Sure, but by the rules of the game, let's roll by the mission rules on page 214.
Oh, in the series, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's one. I am on that.
So we either have to identify complicity for Phyll or complicity in whoever it is this fish represents. And that identifies someone, and then we can do confront as a mission type.
Oh yeah, it doesn't put any of the questions that we're actually trying to ask in Explore Suspect Stream, does it? Huh.
I mean, sort of, yes. In that we're dealing with clues of blah 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 blah.
Well, their involvement with it is already like established. We aren't trying to find out if she's connected with the cult, but like more details about her involvement.
Oh, then yeah, that's why I like made the point of asking what mission are we doing, because it kind of changes what we're doing in the dream.
Yeah, we weren't here to dissuade her from being in a conspiracy, but that might accidentally be happening too because of that crit.
No, because we need to know what the mission is before we roll the engagement roll. Like, the game has mechanics. We have to rule by the mechanics.
No, I can see where you're coming from now. I didn't quite understand.
Oh
Yeah, like, so we are exploring. That's what the mission is.
I guess
Yeah, no, I knew
fair-
that much.
I guess to be fair, I haven't really looked at the GM side.
This isn't the GM
rules.
side. The entire there is no
this
GM
is-
side.
this is
Look,
player
this
side.
is player side.
I know. I mean, as far as asking
The entire book is
questions,
player side.
I don't know how many other game mechanics, what type of mission it is actually affect.
But it determines what we're trying to do inside the dream.
Yes.
That's again why I was asking what mission are we doing in the dream. We can't just go into a dream to poke around. We actually have to have the objective. If it is to talk Phyll out of being the conspiracy, then it's confront. But
Yep, I'm back.
Phyll wasn't. Yeah,
No,
Phyll wasn't
I mean,
there,
at,
so,
at, thi-
yeah.
at this point, it's we're looking at. We know that she's being told to do things, and somebody has baited her with something. So it's the
Right.
second lot of questions on that, right? It's what have they been promised?
But isn't on the like follower or propagator side of things. Is that
Huh?
what I'm hearing? This one, right? Like that Phil's not on the conspiracy track.
I mean, she might be. It's but she's clearly been either promised something or threatened in some way. As per the
So-
bait.
Yeah,
So that's
again,
what we
yeah,
that's what we need to find out is, you know, what's the conspiracy got on you?
Yeah.
So, how are we all doing?
Yeah. Okay.
Figuring out a little bit of direction.
Yeah. Like again, me trying to work out which one of the missions we're doing on page 214.
Oh, are we ready to get back to the game? Or
Yeah. Sure.
okay.
Yeah.
I'll switch the music back to action.
Just completely skipping lights and camera, huh?
We have no camera. Left with no lights.
So ironically, I guess you could say that we're playing light.
Hey.
Anyway, Carys, you're trying to get Phyll to open up and tell you who the shark represents. She's clearly quite scared. So, how are you going to try and convince her?
Ooh.
For what it's worth, I will say you are going to get you are going to get the name of another conspirator as well, another suspect out of this. But this is just going to determine what it costs you. Basically, it will determine if she sort of caves and admits to the rest of the conspiracy what she's told you.
Okay. I'm going to tell her whatever they promised you or whatever they've threatened you with, we will be able to help you deal with them.
Okay, that sounds good. What are you rolling for this?
Express?
Okay. Yep, Express sounds good.
I would like to take a poison promise for it as well, because I really, really want that extra dice. Although saying that, I'm getting. Oh no, wait, no, because if I do really good on this roll, she might not cave. Okay, yeah, I'll take the promise, whatever it's going to be. What would be a good
Okay.
poison promise?
Yep, obviously anyone can suggest these. Oh yeah, just to warn you, obviously, because you're level 1 harm, you're rattled. So that's going to downgrade your action's effect by 1.
Noted.
I'm getting the impression that you're going to leave some type of psychic evidence behind. So when the conspiracy looks into any part of Phil's memory at some juncture, presumably that's what they're planning to do. They'll know you've been here. Maybe not what you found out or what you've said, but that you've been here. You're going to leave some evidence behind.
Yep, how does that grab you?
That sounds terrifying. That sounds like it's advancing a clock of some kind. I'll take it.
I mean, there is literally a track determining how the conspiracy, catching up with all of you before you can do anything about them.
Yep.
Yep.
So that literally can be represented mechanically.
It'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
Yep. If you're going to take that, you can have the extra dice.
Alrighty then. Nobody's helping in any way, right? So that's
Not
what position
sure
is
I'm
that?
close enough by.
What was that? Sorry, Keith.
I'm not sure I'm close enough by to help out. Sorry.
Oh, I think
in the
Miracle's on. I think Miracle's
we're
on
up
the
on the pier.
pier with Carys, so Miracle, you can easily quite help if you want to.
Yeah, I can try and be at least a company presence as best I'm able to. I'll spend beyond 2 stress for that.
I believe assist is only 1 stress.
Well, you earn 1 stress for that then.
Much
In that case,
appreciated.
get yourself a dice.
Yep. Yep. So that's 2 extra dice.
Okay.
Wow, I
What
completely
was the
managed to.
position?
Sorry, position is risky standard. Sorry.
Okay, that's fine.
And yep, the consequence here is she might blab to the conspiracy if you fail. So not only would that. Ooh.
We take those.
Yep. So 5 success with a complication. So she sort of steadies her breathing, as Miracle and Carys sort of try to reassure her. And she says, "Okay, you promise? You promise?" Yeah. Well, it seemed like nothing at first. There's this guy. Chris is his name. Miracle, you actually sort of, even with a sideways glance at the the shark version of Chris, you actually do recognise him. He's sort of an associate of Brayden, your ex.
It's more complicated than X, but yeah.
Your situationship.
Yeah.
He paid me to he paid me. It started a few months ago. We both entered a fishing contest. He paid me to basically catch the biggest fish I could and slip it to him. Thing is, I mean, he paid out all right, but since then he's been blackmailing with it. If it got out, I helped him cheat. Being president of the fishing club would be the least of my worries. And, well, he's been forcing me to help him cheat since. And, well, there's the other things. Welkin deserves better.
Things.
Welkin deserves better than what I've been having him do.
Sorry, what?
You will know that Welkin is a Tern's surname.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, just a guy who joined the fishing club. He seemed reliable, and well, they've been putting so much stuff on me, and I got him mixed up in all this too. Loving the meta commentary in the Roll20 chat there.
Robert keeps beeping at me for it, so it's kind of distracting and throwing me off my messaging.
Oh, sorry.
Maybe I shouldn't have told you that. Wait, but if I
Sorry,
tell
no.
them I told you,
Don't think about it.
so
That's Chris out there then.
yeah.
So you're just going to let him eat this entire pier?
Well, as long as I don't step out of line, as long as I stay with, well, he still pays me a bit. As long as I keep taking the bait, I'm fine.
Mm.
As long as I don't step into the water, I'm fine.
Mulling things over in my brain at the moment. I have to come back to me in a bit.
Okay. Carys, do you want to do anything with this information? Well, actually, while you're thinking about that, I guess we should cut back to Tern, who is currently being chased by a shark. Man.
Yep.
So yeah, you have the full focus of Chris. So, do you want to do anything about that, or will you just accept your fate?
Let me see. Are there any, I don't know, rocks, other big rocks, other piers or something that could kite him into?
Yeah. There's probably some like boulders sticking out of the water, or
Dream
buoys,
logic,
or
I could probably just say there isn't, can't I?
yeah, exactly. Now you're guessing it, because obviously you've transcended. You're probably powerful enough to influence the dream somewhat. No, we're using it's sort of Inception rules. Don't be afraid to dream a little bigger, darling, and all that.
Okay. Yep, I think, let's see. What would be good? Yeah, just some big rocks, I guess. I'm gonna try and kite him into some big rocks, something of the sort. Maybe even kind of hovering from it, spread my wings to like hide the rocks behind me, and then dart out of the way at the last second, I suppose. Something of the sort.
Okay, that sounds good. What do you want to roll for it?
Would conceal be good?
Yeah, you are trying to sort of bluff him, although... yeah, conceal makes sense here. You're trying to sort of... Yeah, this is a sort of a bluff, so that makes sense. We'll call this risky standard.
Okay. Let's see. For the sake of asking, are there any poison promises forthcoming? Kind of just wasting /buying time, I suppose.
I've got one.
or trying to stun him, kind of remove him, maybe. What we got?
Okay, so while you can't, obviously this isn't the real Chris, as a giant shark in Phyll's dream. What a sentence. But basically, you'll sort of leave an impression on her subconscious. So the next time she sees him, she'll put a sort of a greater emphasis. Maybe she'll have you on her mind somehow, without understanding why, which will in turn sort of bring use of his attention. Which, to be fair, could be to your benefit if you want to sort of track him down, but on the other hand, could go very badly.
Yeah, I want to. At this early stage, at least, I think I kind of want to leave as little of an identifiable footprint in this as I can. I think I'm just gonna take the one die.
Okay. Okay. Roll away then.
Okay. Let's see. This is standard. Transcendent, yes, but it doesn't make any difference. I'm not gonna bother clicking it. Well, yeah, I should click it, I guess. Oh, because it, yeah, counts for the tracker thingy. And whelp.
Oh dear. Yeah, so you try and sort of maneuver yourself into the way of the rocks and dodge out of the way at the last second, but you're too slow. And you find yourself, so obviously he sort of hits the rocks, but unfortunately you're in between him.
Oh yeah, that sounds bad. I'm gonna be resisting that, I think.
Yeah, so this would be level. Yeah, it was only risky standard, so I'll say it's level 1 harm slammed, but yeah, you can resist it. We'll say this is
actually what.
Sorry.
What does armor do?
Basically, armor, you can exactly what your armor is depends on your playbook, but you can expend it to immediately resist a consequence, I believe.
Oh, you get one of those for Transcendence for free, or?
When transcendent,
I don't have
you
any
can just burn armor to resist any consequence. Full stop. No questions asked.
Yeah.
I'll do that then.
Okay, so
Does that take another?
The rules for it's on page 75.
yeah, thank you.
So 78 probably in the PDF, or no? Overshot.
No, 75. The numbers are correct in the PDF.
Yep, here we are. While transcended, you have armor against physical harm.
They
You can
aren't
mark an
just the
armor
same.
box to reduce or avoid appropriate consequence without rolling to resist.
Okay, yeah. Yep.
So-
I guess I'm just gonna shrug it off, more or less,
Yeah, so yeah,
or just am faster. I don't know.
yeah. I guess
Well,
here you move a bit too slowly. He sort of slams into you, but you just sort of manage to sort of roll in the air, and stabilize yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How much of your transcendent tracks used up, by the way?
2 out of 4.
Okay. It does sort of occur to you that your transcendence is allowing you to fly, and you're currently very far out over the water.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Definitely gonna have to do something about this guy. Maybe just I assume we'll get back round to me, or should I address this now?
If you've got anything you want to try now, we can roll for that, or we can cut back to someone else if you're still thinking.
Kind of thinking the next idea is to try to lose him while I can. Potentially by basically playing chicken and then diving out of the way and just getting away from his line of sight and into the fog.
Okay, yeah, that
in
sounds
the direction of the pier.
Yep, that makes sense. What do you want to roll for it?
I think conceal. Again.
Okay,
Just
conceal
trying
again.
to play with him.
Okay, I'm going to say this is going to be desperate standard because, you know, you've only just shrugged him off and he's going to be quite close behind.
Yep.
So good
I
news.
just yeah.
Good news, you just rolled, that's going to get you XP. But the bad news is, obviously if you fail, the consequences are going to be way worse.
I just lost the game of chicken with him a second ago, but let's see if I can win this one.
Yeah, I mean, you should have the advantage. You're an actual chicken right now.
Okay, and this takes off another transcendence thingy. Let me see. No, I do. I think I'm taking the 1 die.
Okay. Do you want to push yourself?
No, I have something else.
Fair enough.
You said desperate standard?
Yep, desperate standard.
Okay, and transcended. No bonus dice. Ah,
Oh, hello.
There we go. That's my experience points.
invisible.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, you just sort of only barely wriggled yourself out of his grip, but you just sort of hold position, and this time you've had a bit more sort of experience seeing where he goes, and you majestically just whoosh into the fog, and Shark Chris just zooms off into the distance, none the wiser.
Like he's so lost he can't even remember which way the pier is.
He's probably not going to be a problem for now, but he might swing back round depending how long you're in the dream. So yeah.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
I mean, it's dream logic. You don't need to remember the direction. You just need to focus on getting back to us.
That is fair.
Yeah. So you can safely return to the pier, and obviously you've got one more bit of your transcendence track left. So keep that in mind. And yeah, what are you the other two doing?
I know what I'm going to do with regards to Phyll, if that helps.
Go ahead.
Just put my arm around her shoulders and start walking her down the pier, and reassure her that, you know, look, whatever's going to happen is going to happen, but you're not alone anymore. We're here with you. You just need to... Well, let's start with what are they making you do aside from the bribery and the blackmail? What are the things that are really troubling you? I mean, cheating at fishing is one thing.
Okay, like you see a slight sort of twitch on her face, as if, no, from her perspective, that is the worst thing. Although there probably is more. Still, that's not going to be enough to sort of put her off you now, because, you know, you've more or less sort of saved her. So, yeah, what do you want to roll?
Can I roll analyze to try and figure out what she's providing, how what she does furthers the conspiracy's goals, whatever they may be?
Yep, you can sort of use what information you have access to now to sort of try and get a sort of a cold read. I mean, this wouldn't be something you're sort of doing out loud to her, saying to her, as much as just sort of thinking about what you've already learned so far.
Yeah.
Say it's going to be
fitting her into the puzzle.
Yeah, I'm going to say that's sort of risky standard.
Cool.
In fact, you know what? No, I'll give you a controlled standard. Because obviously this is just you thinking in your head.
Oh, no.
Unfortunately, that's a failure.
Maybe I shouldn't have disparaged the fishing.
Yeah, you just can't. Like, you're just sort of trying to put things together, but unfortunately, you just spend a bit too long thinking, and she sort of
It's
just
control
sort of
position.
yeah, yes, and you
So
feel
you
her
can-
sort of slowing down. Yeah, it's controlled, so it's not going to be too terrible. But she just sort of starts slowing down, and you hear her
It's
say,
either re-roll it risky or try something different.
"Yeah, sorry, is something wrong? Did I say something wrong?"
No. This isn't you. I'm just trying to understand the people that are putting you in harm's way. What? Hang on a minute. I had the other page up specifically for this. Two, 1, 4. There we go. So we've got another lead. We've got. Does Miracle have anything else that she wants to get from?
Miracle's not much good at talking to people, but
Yeah,
one
neither am I.
Yeah, one of us should have probably chosen stats to talk to people in this campaign. And it literally couldn't have been the stranger. But one thing that Phyll did say was that she wasn't allowed to go into the water. So Miracle's going to transcend and jump in the water.
Oh, bold move.
Interesting.
I went through all this trouble getting the shark away from here.
Yeah,
fine,
I mean,
here.
the shark. Yeah, the shark's not right here right now. That is a very bold move indeed. Whatever you roll, I'm going to call it risky. Sorry, I'm going to call it desperate. What would you like to roll to just dive into the water?
I'm assuming diving into the water isn't the problem. The thing that while I'm down there, I'm trying to find out what the water is trying to hide. There's something down here in Dream Logic Town, which is where everything is. There is literally nothing above ground aside from maggots and fishing lines and a broken pier. So presumably everything that's being hidden is literally below the surface. So let's
Okay.
analyze this.
Okay, analyze. Yep.
You
Yep.
want desperate?
Yep. Desperate standard, please. Would you like to push yourself and take a devil's bargain? This is the wrong game. Poison promise.
I would like to hear a poison promise offer.
Oh. Thanks for the raid, Iris. Poison promise. Keith made that gif. Poison promise. Okay, sort of going this deep into the dream will leave a... Basically, you're going to go deeper into the dream, and this will leave a mark, as before with the poison promise I offered to Tern. This will sort of leave a mark in her mind, and she will remember you, even though she isn't quite sure why.
Oh, let's go with that. That's fine. Give me a dice.
All right, take an extra die and roll away.
Desperate standard.
Yep. Don't forget to mark your XP.
Will do since I roll it. Ooh, fun times.
Uh-oh. All those crits had to swing back around somehow, right?
You're just in time.
All right.
Keith's character's doomed.
Oh, it's fine. So got my armor. Go for it.
So that's Snake Eyes on a desperate roll. So, you dive into the water, and as you suspected, this is effectively a deeper layer of the dream, and you sort of see basically hundreds and hundreds of fish, all in sort of the thing you sort of notice about them is they're not sort of moving naturally. They're moving in schools, but they're moving in sort of weird straight lines, just not in ways they should be. And they sort of seem to be swimming back and forth. Sort of, some of them are actually outright luring, sort of corralling one another into nets. And you just, sort of see this and start taking it in. It's like, because, wow, well, you're through the looking glass here. And before, just as you're sort of lost in thought and wonder, floating in the sort of water ether, you're not quite sure what it is. Shark. Yeah. The
Chris.
the Chris shark sort of slams into your side and starts biting down on you.
Yeah, let's not have that happen, shall we?
Yeah. Yep, so you can expend your armor. Well, are you transcending then?
I said I was transcending when I jumped into the water, so yes.
Oh, right, of course you did.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
That's my first transcendence roll.
Sorry, I didn't hear that. Yep, so just quickly remind us what it looks like when you're transcending. I believe it came up last session.
Yeah, Tomorrow Yearns is a predominantly being made of light that's part biblically accurate angel, part transcendent, idealized vision of the city, and given human form. Like your standard Lady Liberty or equivalent thereof, a personification of a city.
Yeah.
With plenty of academic writing where the arms should be.
Yeah. You're literally like a paper person. But oddly enough,
Normally in the dreams, that's what Miracle has as her arms anyway, because that's her tell. But it's radiant when it's on Tomorrow Yearns.
All right. So, yep, the shark comes in and you just effortlessly just sort of like, it's just that sort of action movie trope where the really, clever analytical person just sort of barely even moves and they're just, the danger just misses them.
I think Tomorrow just puts out a single hand and just a network of traffic grids that just cages against Chris as it charges in for a lunge.
Okay. So,
I burn my armor.
Okay, yep. So, yep, you've burnt your armor, but the shark's still there. Do you want to do anything about this, or shall we cut to someone else for now?
Well, probably a good idea to give everyone else a reaction just in case.
Okay.
The fish
Carys
has been
and
alerted.
yeah, the fish are alerted. The the clock is irrelevant. Wow, that's going to confuse the audience who just came in. So yeah,
4 o'clock just moved from 1 to 4.
yeah.
I got sneaky
Carys.
suspicion. I gotta use up last of my fuel just not drowning, just getting back to the pier so I don't drown.
Nope. The tracker only gets used up when you roll, so just flying back won't do anything. So
Oh.
yep, Carys, you've just seen Miracle transcend and jump into the water. Tern, I'll say, because obviously you're sort of flying over the water, you'll have been able to see the shark, Shark Chris.
Beat me back there.
Yeah, just sort of turn around and go for her, and her sort of dodge out of the way. What would either of you like? Would either of you like to do anything?
What's Phil's reaction?
Phyll just sort of hand over mouth, steps back. He's back. You'll know. And you just sort of realise, as long as Shark Chris is around, she's not going to tell you anything.
Okay. I am going to respond to this by transcending.
Alrighty. What does your transcendence look like?
Okay, so I can't remember if I covered Carys's tell before, but it's basically her OG self. the way that people remember that she used to be. Like instead of the usual trousers, blouse, blazer, sort of smart or business, very practical and pragmatic. It's some kind of like long, flowy, sunshine yellow dress, like, you know.
Oh yeah. Before her character development.
Yes, before she became the cynical and all the way tired. Like, why can't these people just stay saved? But as she transcends, she elongates, becoming just taller. The limbs don't not just a little bit too long, and the dress becomes more ragged. Just sort of, rather than just the one dress, there are facsimiles of lots of different fashions in lots of different states of being, or almost like herself is no longer contained to the present set of possibilities.
Oh yeah. So yeah, she's just got like several timelines superimposed over her.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Don't stare too hard; it'll probably give you a migraine.
All right.
And as this transformation happens, you know, a hand rests on the nearest shoulder of Phyll, and Carys says, well, I say Carys says, but I guess it's the avatar at this point, says, a promise has been made. No one is being sacrificed, and those who are not responsible for the conspiracy will be saved. So far as we can tell, you are an innocent and will remain this way.
Okay. Do you want to roll to reassure her? Or are you just saying that to...
I'll reassure her, sure. Yeah, let's call this Express.
Yep, Express sounds good. You pushing yourself or taking a poison promise?
I'll push myself, why not?
Okay, that'll be 2 stress. Do you have any... out of interest, what's your transcendent ability?
Lost cause. Once per transcendence, when an ally suffers severe consequences, so I could have done with this literally 1 turn ago, you may choose to abandon this timeline for a better one. Consequences they would have suffered are replaced by my suffering level 3 harm. Traveler's despair. And it changes my relationship with that person depending on what they think would have changed.
Okay,
that's pretty darn heavy considering how hard harm is to get rid of. You'd be out for like multiple sessions.
I would be harmed for multiple sessions, yes, but
you would be on need help for multiple sessions.
Yeah. Well, no, one
Level
session unless you didn't help me, like. But anyway.
Yep.
What am I rolling?
The thing you said. Oh, sorry. Risky standard.
Risky standard transcendent. Yes, not that it matters. Bonus dice. 1 because
it takes down 1 for the transcendence track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
3.
Yeah, unfortunately, 3's a failure.
No.
Yeah. So she just sort of she just sort of freezes up. You haven't really managed to reassure her in any way.
Well, that happened.
Yeah.
What's Nolas doing?
Good question.
I mean, you're a bird. There's a fish.
I'm sorry. What was Carys trying to do just now?
Reassure Phyll.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I don't think there's much I'm gonna be doing about that from here. I have one action left. Best I can think of is like fly back like near to the pier and just kind of flap wings hard enough to create like a strong enough gust of wind that kind of turns the shark aside, but that's kind of the last I can actually do.
Okay,
So I
so
would
you,
just ideally
just-
just land back on the pier, back on my feet, not really knowing how else I'm going to be able to contribute.
okay, so you're just trying to create a gust of wind so strong it creates a small wave in the water to try and move the shark, is that?
It's going to have to be a bigger than small wave to move the shark, it sounds like, but whatever I can get, yeah.
That does actually sound pretty cool. So yeah, what do you want to roll for this? Because obviously you're trying to basically this is your will versus the dream itself. So yeah, you can try and do that. It won't necessarily be easy, but you can try it.
Defy, I guess.
Yeah, defy sounds good. I'll say this is going to be risky. Yeah, I'm going to say even transcended, this is going to be limited in effect. But,
I'm going to go ahead and push myself.
Okay, that's 2 stress. Have an extra die.
Yep. Let me see, is there anything else I can do with this? No, that grants that to that. Okay, so defy +1, I guess.
Okay.
Transcendent, 1 bonus die. Okay, and it's okay, it's a that.
Yep, so that is a 4 is a success. So yeah, you just sort of bring your wings back, create a huge gust of wind, and it just sends a shockwave through the water. Miracle, as you're sort of dodging out of the way of the shark, it sort of rears back for another bite, but then it's just suddenly knocked aside. It's sort of not really sort of taken any sort of been injured in any way, and it's not going to be driven off, but it has been
left to slip down deeper below the waves.
Yeah,
I'm assuming
lovely.
down here is the rest of the city.
Okay, so you're going to try and take the opportunity to slip past it. What are you rolling?
I'm assuming I got that from the fact that that's what Tern just did. No?
That's correct. And Tern, obviously, that's presumably that empties your transcendent track, so you're back to your sort of normal form again.
Yep. Do I land on the pier or?
Yeah, you can land
Yeah,
I wouldn't
yeah,
say
makes
you you're probably sensible enough that you didn't do this like several meters off to above the water. You can be on the pier when you turn back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so miracle.
Looking down below the waves, presumably, since we didn't see the rest of it when we were up there, the city's down here.
Yep. You basically sort of as you get further down, you start seeing the city itself, or a version thereof. This version of the city, it's sort of basically, obviously you know the city sort of has the port on the north and east sides of the peninsula, but this has sort of been inverted, so it's more like a donut with the harbour area on the inside.
This place doesn't know. This place can't hide from me. This place is mine. So, let us see what Phyll keeps hidden down here, away from herself. And let's start thinking nautical, and let's start thinking sunken treasure, shipwrecks, and that line of thinking. Let's start looking for nice caches of reefs that are made of memories.
Okay, what's we rolling for this?
Let's be expressive. I'm trying to force my kind of brain onto this to try and get some narrative going. To try and get, as I'm distancing myself from the Chris Shark, which I'm pretty sure is actually Chris himself at this juncture, so find out if that's a problem. And as I get further into Phil's subconscious, I am trying to subtly put more of the nautical thought into place so that it unlocks some memories. And since I'm thinking metaphorically, treasure chests or pirate ships or that type of thing.
Yeah.
So express.
Yep, that makes sense. You know, I mean, the commonality you've got here is the city, so you're just sort of using that as sort of a bridge, and you're trying to influence the dream. We'll call this risky standard.
Cool. Any point promises on this one?
Yeah, I mean, I can offer you the previous poison promise. This is a sort of a very significant shift in the dream.
Oh, it's happened anyway. Like that's that's already happened.
Yeah, that's already
I have
happened.
I have so many miracle links. Take a dice. Take a die.
Cool.
Okay.
Dice.
Yep. Yeah. You sort of flash back to you know, chatting with Tern about the layout of the city.
We went to the Nautical Museum. It was fun. One extra dice, transcending. Let's go. I'll do.
Nice.
Okay, so a success is a 6 is a success without any complications. So yeah.
Let's find some buried treasure.
Yeah. So you sort of remember how you yourself explained to Tern how buried treasure was once salvaged from basically a sort of a reef just off the coast of the peninsula, and you think about all the equipment that was used, which sort of pulls it into being, and a massive galleon opens up before you, slowly being sort of floated by thousands and thousands of ping pong balls. And as you you sort of land on the deck of this ship, and well, a massive chest stands before you. Do you want to open it?
Yes. Yes, I did.
Okay, so you crack this chest open, and inside you basically find a sort of it's basically a sort of a small logbook. It's full of basically lists of catches and various sort of you know, baits, and it's just a very, very extensive sort of list of what a fisherman might with a lot of experience might use. And it's just
I'm getting the impression though that these aren't actual fish. These are presumably a log of people that Phyll has either blackmailed or is keeping blackmail information on the conspiracy.
Yep. This sort of tells you two things, in fact.
Mm-hmm.
Firstly, You confirm that Phyll is a part of the conspiracy. She
Cool.
is a...
Propagator, follower. Or...
Yep, sorry. She is a follower.
Cool. I'll put her in.
Where did
A
that
follower,
pen
you say,
die?
not follower, yes.
Yep, a follower. And...
Which
Yeah.
tree? Indoctrination, acquisitions, or surveillance? Presumably
right.
acquisitions.
Yeah, acquisitions. And you also learn that Chris is a propagator, also on acquisitions.
Ooh. Nice. Okay. That's good. That is good.
You also find a small photo at the back of the book. A Polaroid with Phyll, with you're not quite sure who it is, but it looks like a younger relative, a cousin or a younger sibling, perhaps.
Nice. With this logbook, as Tomorrow Yearns, click my fingers and it creates like a ghostly copy of the logbook, and then that just gets absorbed into me.
Yep. Yep.
But primarily, I'm going to put the logbook back in the chest, but take the Polaroid, and I'm guessing the ship is going to start piloting itself back to the pier. I'm going to stand on the bowsprit with my arms crossed behind my back.
Yeah, absolutely, because that's very cool.
Oh yeah. Presumably everyone can see this as well. Now this salvage ship is sort of piloting itself.
Yeah. So everyone, you see this. You see a miracle emerge on the deck of the ship as it surfaces. You also see the shark turning around towards her.
Look out. Probably shout that.
I would like. Okay, I'm gonna. I'm going to first off turn to Phyll, and I'll say, "Here is the evidence of how we can protect you." And then I will just sort of not really flying so much as gliding over the surface of the water to intercept the shark and like between Miracle's ascended form and my own, provide an imposing enough figure to convince it to leave.
Okay, that sounds good. What are you rolling?
Defy.
This is definitely defying. Okay, we'll call this desperate standard because actually I'll say desperate great because if anything's going to convince her, it's this. But obviously this could go very badly because you're taunting a giant shark.
Is there anything anyone can do to give me a dice?
Yeah.
No, I have them.
them.
No, I have sorry, no. Sorry.
I have one link left with the Carys.
That would be fantastic.
How far along are you on stress?
I have one left. If I push myself on this, I eclipse.
And how much transcendence do you have left? Are you just now transcending?
I know I've been transcended.
How many actions you rolled?
Say that again.
How many rolls have you done while transcendent?
1.
Then yeah, you got 3 left.
Yeah, okay, 3 left.
Okay, so you might be okay as long as you don't eclipse after transcendence ends, or at least you'll be on 50-50.
Oh yeah, no, saying that. No, because we've got the what do you
Yeah.
call it thing, haven't we? Yeah, so I can just push myself and pray.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay, then yeah, I'm gonna do that. 2
Okay.
dice.
Okay, so you want you do want the link?
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
that's my last link that I can't. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Roll away. Desperate stand is going to be desperate great. You have your 2 bonus dice. Let's see how this ends.
Okay. Desperate. Effect. Great. Transcendence. Yes. Bonus die. 2.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
let's go.
So yeah,
Get your
2
XP.
things are going to happen then. First of all, you just sort of, what do you actually do to this shark?
Just place myself between it and below the level of the bow of the ship.
If you don't
So
actually
that-
fight it, we get Series XP. Sorry.
What was that?
If you don't actually fight it, we get Series XP. Never mind.
matter.
Just
Yeah, I wasn't planning on actively fighting it.
saying.
But yeah, no, I placing myself between it and the ship, below the level of the bow, so that Miracle is still visible in her ascended form. And I hold it my arms and I tell it, you do not win on this occasion. Leave. And just there, all big and imposing and threatening.
Okay, yeah. The shark's just sort of shuts its mouth, regards you with its small black beady eyes, which have sort of human like sclera in them. It looks kind of creepy. It sort of seems to drift for a moment before turning around and sinking into the depths. Congratulations. I guess you've won that encounter. Now, I believe you filled your stress track.
+1, yes.
Okay.
Time.
So, obviously, in Blades in the Dark, there was a system where if you filled your stress track, you'd suffer some sort of trauma and you disappear from the scene for a bit. But here it's done a little differently. After filling your stress track, you enter a state called Eclipse, which is basically sort of like your, dark magical girl era, sort of villain arc. Of course, you can roll to get out of it. So, I'll just read the rule out. Rolling for Eclipse. When you reach or exceed your stress limit, you roll for Eclipse using your lowest attribute. So that would be what you roll for Obligation.
Done for me, yeah.
So, roll that.
1 moment, because I am aware that our moment of crisis, when factoring your... No.
The other one. Hold back the nightmare.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
you roll
In the
4
character
or
sheet for some
5.
reason.
Yeah, so you're transcending, so you get
right,
plus 1
okay,
dice.
cool. Yep.
Oh, yeah, you get plus 1 dice when transcending to intimidate things, so you should be rolling plus 1 dice on scaring the
Oh,
sharks.
yeah.
Right.
You should have got an extra dice for scaring
Well,
the shark.
that's well Eclipse.
Oh,
so
I
that,
see.
That one,
Yeah.
it depends on what.
Oh, yeah,
what
so
order
you're,
the roll-
you're not in Eclipse at the moment anyway, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're not an Eclipse, so
Anyway.
that doesn't apply. But yeah. So normally, if you rolled a 1 or a 3, you'd be an Eclipse. A 4 or 5, someone can spend a bond to pull you out of Eclipse. And on a 6, you're just not an Eclipse. but obviously with this ability, if you're transcended, a 4 or a 5 just pulls you out. You know, you're fine. So yeah, roll your lowest attribute, please.
Just don't take any more stress after you untranscend. That's all.
Oh dear.
Oh.
Wait, lower the.
What did I roll? 2 and a 5.
Let's see.
Oh no.
Yep, so
Well.
take the lowest of the 2, so that is a 2.
Still a 50-50,
Yeah, you are in Eclipse.
sort of.
Da da da.
Oh no.
So-
it's...
Your playbook should say
75 or
what happens when you're in Eclipse. So, how does Carys feel right now?
Let me pull that up. When you eclipse, you've known all along that changing fate was impossible. I mean, I would know that. I've been doing it for trying for a very long time. There's so much wasted effort, so much wasted time. If this fate was inevitable, why not embrace it? Set aside all caution for instinct and pursue a direct course of action, heedless of consequence. So
Oh,
in the
dear.
future, I'm going to be less, think things through, make measured approaches, keep everyone safe, and more jump into danger. This
Yep.
is going to be a problem with my promise to Miracle.
Please also read your escape clause.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
When my fated person, which is either of the other two, defies my predictions and shows me they can alter the course of fate. Once they've done that, I change either the fated person or their fate or both. But because both of you kind of tie into it, it'll be your fate.
Oh, I forgot you got to double dip on that one.
I'm too nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna mark off that transcendence roll.
Yeah. So, the other thing to note is, obviously, now that you're in Eclipse, you're going to stop spending your stress backwards.
Yes.
So, free stress bar. And of course, if you empty your stress bar without escaping Eclipse, your character is retired.
Yep.
That is to say, they die or turn evil.
Yeah.
Or just, just give up.
Yeah.
So we got to help prove you can defy fate. Yay!
And presumably this sticks. Presumably this sticks between sessions. So I'm not sure if that means it refills the stress tracker every session, or
Nope.
stress
It,
starts staying where it is.
Nope, doesn't
It stays
refill.
at max, and then it
Yeah.
doesn't refill.
Oh, okay.
So you got maybe a session or two.
There's a question though. Does it between sessions, if we don't fix it, does the bar refill
No.
to max? No. So as I spend the stress, it just holds at that. Right, I understand.
Yeah.
Obligation's gonna suck.
Yeah, I'll read this out. While you're in Eclipse, you use stress in reverse, erasing accumulated stress from your sheet anytime you would normally take it. You do not clear stress or your transcendence track at the end of a mission. If an effect causes you to recover stress while in Eclipse, increase your stress by that amount instead. Being in Eclipse gives you power, effectively letting you use your accumulated stress a second time. The power comes at a cost, however, as in this state your character's dysfunctional impulses start to overshadow their virtues. So yeah, if the counter reaches 0, you can take no more, and then you die. You lose your magical powers and return heartbroken to mundane life, or you betray your companions inside of the adversaries.
Just good things, all good things.
Yeah.
overall.
In
Yeah.
case, I guess,
Yeah.
roll a new character, probably.
Yep, it very explicitly says here, make a new character who will join the group after the current mission ends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually say, so presumably, you will burn that stress on your obligation.
Yep.
Oh, good news though. Remember you to mark down XP because you did make a desperate roll.
Oh,
Yes.
I forgot if the question was answered from that in the book. Does it reset before obligation?
No.
No,
Reset back
it
to
doesn't.
full?
Nope, it doesn't recess at all.
Okay, so obligation can just kill you before the mission starts.
Yeah, if Empress burns a load of stress before the end of this mission, then yeah, the potential that you burn out during obligation phase.
Yep.
Hmm.
But yeah. While Carys is sort of grappling with this existential terror. Phyll
while
sort
this is
of
happening. Yeah.
Phyll sort of looks you down and says, "Thank you, thank you." And all of a sudden, the fog sort of starts to descend, and you realise she's
Before it
waking up.
fades out, before it fades out completely, I'm stepping off the boat, like from the bowsprit, and walking over to her with the Polaroid that I took out of the chest,
Okay.
and I'm going to hand it over to her. No matter what happens, there are people out there who depend on you and love you. Don't keep these locks away. I'm saying this as my transcendence sort of burns out and Miracle comes out instead of tomorrow.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Okay, so this all fades out. Miracle, you sort of come to under the tree you're sitting under. Carys, you start unsticking your face from your notes. And Tern, you wake up in the locker room, opposite Phyll. She's covered in sweat. She looks at you, blinks, and says, "We need to talk." And that's the end of your mission. Congratulations.
Hooray! We've almost killed a character. Hooray!
Well, we got halfway there.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Eesh.
Yeah,
Fun.
congratulations.
And it's
do
actually
you wanna-
stuff out.
Yeah. Let's just get that done. I don't suppose you happen to remember what page it's on, Keith.
I do not. I think it's playbook specific as well.
Gaining XP, I guess, would be
getting
100.
playbook. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow, we'll start with XP because that's easy. So who wants to go first?
I'll go through my list.
Okay.
So, end of the session, mark 1 or 2, depending on how many of these I did. Addressing a challenge with knowledge or subtlety. I think I did some knowledge.
I'm pretty sure this is session 2. Last session was session 1.
Sorry, what was that?
Session 2. Last session was session 1.
It's true.
Yeah, but I'm not sure what that means. Like, it's either mark 1 or 2 based on how many times you've done them. So, what were you meaning by that, Niles?
Sorry, I thought you were asking what. I thought you were talking about what session number this was. Because,
No.
like, yeah. Sorry.
So, addressing a challenge with knowledge or subtlety. I did that at least once. I'm not sure twice, though. I attempted to use it twice, but I don't think I passed, so I'll just mark 1.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely did when you sort of descended into the depths of the dream.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll let you have 2 XP for that. Because I feel like you did at least
Yay.
one at a time.
Cool. That gets me my sun. You express your beliefs, drives, role, or background. Given that I pushed myself by sitting far away and commanding my mastery of the dream realms, I'm pretty okay with my role being expressed there.
Yep,
As
okay,
for
yeah.
beliefs, I've marked like a few times, noting that I'm from the harbour and know what the place is meant to be like, and used that to dive into the dream when I realised we weren't particularly in the city, more like above it.
Yeah, that sounds like 2 XP.
That's yay. Struggle with issues from promises of obligation. Not yet. It will be soon, though.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Not yet.
Next session's going to be lots of it for both of you. And I did not go Eclipse, so no XP from that. 4 total.
Okay, 4 total XP. Carys or Tern? Who wants to go next?
I'll go.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's still the earliest in the day for me, so as usual, I'm good with going last.
Okay. A feature for the items below. You address the challenge with foresight or revelation.
Yeah, I mean, you used your ability to sort of warn Tern, so that's definitely one.
And the reacting to the information we discovered about Phyll as it was kind of like, oh, this is a person that's more of a victim than an active participant per se.
Yeah, I'll give you 2 XP then.
Yeah. Okay. That fills up one of my bars. Does that mean I empty it out and then choose where I'm putting it? Yeah, outside.
Yeah. So is this your playbook or is it one of your sort of tributes?
One of the attributes, yeah.
Oh yeah. So yeah, if that fills up, you empty it and you get to put a dot in something within that attribute.
Yeah, in one of those 3 abilities.
Yeah. Okay, and then
What'd you
the other
get?
one goes somewhere else. I'll put one into flow. I haven't
Cool.
used it at all yet, but I like the idea of flow. It's very cool.
I got a point to 5.
Yeah, I'm kind of aiming for that as well, to be honest.
Second thing, you express your beliefs, drives, role, or background. Yeah, I think when the initial talk and some of the later bits with again with Phyll was, is we're not going to leave somebody behind. It's just we're not going to let one person just fall without doing something about it. Like,
yeah, I mean, I'll say, just forcing yourself into Eclipse like that to help her out, probably sort of. Yeah. That's definitely your entire deal. Being a bit too self-sacrificing. Yeah, so 2 XP.
So if I fill up the playbook XP bar, that gives me an extra ability, right, from the abilities list.
You get to choose a special ability.
Okay, cool. Do I start building that, or do I go for... I'll do this first. There we go. Next one. You struggled with issues from your promises or obligation. I literally went and sacrificed, went all self-sacrificing.
Yeah.
Didn't really struggle with the one for Tern, but I did help Tern.
Yeah.
Which would have been expressive thing. So I suppose once struggling with the promise to miracle.
Yeah, we can call that 1 XP.
Yeah, 1 XP. Bloop.
Okay.
Bloop.
You embodied your eclipse or displayed the contents of your heart. I mean...
Not yet.
When it says embodied your eclipse, what does that mean?
Basically, so obviously, it says what your sort of character's like in Eclipse. Basically, that's
right.
Yeah, that's role-playing XP for playing up your sort of Eclipse behavior.
Yeah.
Yeah, even without being in Eclipse, I think.
Okay, no, I understand. Okay. Do we get anything from Eclipsing per se?
No, but basically, your Eclipse sort of behaviors are basically an extra XP trigger.
Yeah,
hence
yeah,
that
they
last
did an
bit.
extra trigger for it.
Yeah.
We haven't got to that point yet. Okay, marvelous. Okay, that's the end of me then.
Okay. Turn.
Yep.
Turn to turn.
And thus the world shall turn to Tern, and ask what you did that day. Ask what you did that, or something. Okay, address a challenge with kindness or self-sacrifice. I forgot that was on there, to be honest.
Right.
It's your kind of deal.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. I believe you actually got a code of honor. Did
yeah.
Do you reckon you stuck to it?
I think so.
Did you convince the rest of the team to stick to it?
Out of character a little bit.
What are the things we were not supposed to do? Because I know that's the shorter list.
I mean the one that isn't on the one that I took off the list is lying. The ones left on the list are no fighting, no. The other two are weird. No fighting, no admitting fault, and no asking for help. And somehow I think like, I mean, I kind of let you two do most of the talking again in this one by like running off in the first minute. But yeah, I think kind of we all.
No, I don't think anybody lied. We didn't fight. We blustered.
Oh, the lying part. The lying part is the one that we're allowed to do. It doesn't affect whether we get the Series XP.
Yeah,
It's not doing these three things that matters.
Right.
So lying
okay.
is the one that I took off.
So
lying is the allowed part.
Let's go from the top and treat each one as a question. What's the first one?
Did we commit any violence?
No.
Yeah. Oddly enough,
You were-
no.
We were violence against, but we didn't commit the violence. Okay, so that's point in our favor. What's the next one?
Did we admit fault for anything? Did we like own up to or say sorry for anything? I guess.
No. What's the next one?
Did we ask anybody for help?
No, we gave help freely, but it wasn't. We didn't ask for it. No.
Yeah.
Any more?
I'll allow you to have the. I'll say yes. You can have the XP for this. I believe
Hey!
that's Series XP.
Yeah. So we get Series XP, and I also get mine. Assuming the silly loophole taking that I kept doing for the fight.
How much Series XP is that?
One.
One.
By the looks of it.
Awesome. I've ticked it off.
I'm not sure what the other triggers are for Series XP.
We'll get to that later.
Yeah, we get to that in a bit.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Oh.
Yep. So let's do your XP proper turn.
Okay. It feels weird expecting that like one action of mine might count for so many different triggers. It feels kind of weird and counterintuitive, but I don't think it says anywhere that isn't a thing. To where basically rushing off and trying to take the attention of the Chris shark, like in the beginning, might count for self-sacrifice.
Yeah, that sounds like it. That's 1 XP. Anything else? Sort of protection and self-sacrifice sort of dealing.
Oh, was there? I forget. Is there an XP trigger for the Avatar's Desires thing, or is that just like an additional note that you like can like / should take into account? The virtues and desires.
That comes under the second category. Or possibly the fourth category, if it becomes a problem.
Oh, the contents of heart part?
Yeah, or your role background.
Okay.
Well, drives, I guess, but
Yeah. I guess I I kind of expressed both drives and background at the same time, I guess, by what's the word? Like drawing attention to, I guess, the fact that in the dream world, Tern, like, he has his avatar kind of set for him by the dream world, but actively tries to change it to reflect more of himself. So would that one work under that one?
Yeah, we can have an XP for that.
Okay. Yeah, I don't really think I did that more than once though, so I don't think that part counts twice.
Fair enough.
Struggled with promises or obligation. I don't know if obligation really came up other than like. His being in the his involvement with the conspiracy isn't exactly an obligation. Well, it did affect his obligation. I'm not sure whether having to hide his identity from Phyll counts for that.
Yeah,
I think well,
yeah, that sounds like at least 1 XP.
It definitely impacted the choices you were making.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Like you were quite explicit about that.
Okay. And yeah, as far as contents of heart with the avatar's desires, like Stormcrow is definitely like assuming that it's a part of Tern and not like an alien entity, or at least to the extent I don't know.
It's probably kind of ambiguous at this point.
Yeah,
Something you can
like,
probably explore later.
Yeah, it's not something I'd focus on right now, and more on did it act in accordance with the suggestion you read in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, at any rate, the agency and escape parts of its desires, I felt really, I wanted to really drive what Tern did and how he acted and stuff. So, like being, like kind of snapping back at being given advice.
I was gonna say you can definitely have XP for that bit.
This feels like too much XP. How much? I got 5 8. I forgot.
Yeah,
I got 5 XP added up.
Yeah.
It's wild.
You can get up to 8 each session.
Yep.
Oh. Okay.
Yep.
Session XP.
Yep. Is that all of your XPs?
Yep, that's I hit all 5 of my XP triggers once each.
Yep, that's character ones. Series ones.
Yep. Did we successfully carry out a mission from the series list?
Okay.
Yes.
What does it say on the play sheet?
That's what it says. Did we successfully carry out a mission from the series list?
Oh yeah. Mission successful.
Yep, we explored.
I'm going to take a dot and flow then, since I can.
Nice.
Fill up the stars.
We identified a follower.
That leaves one more.
So that's 1.
Put the one more in play.
I've just marked it already.
Technically speaking, you
you've
identified
already
2
marked it.
followers. I mean, well, a follower and
Oh, yeah, no, it was a follower
Yep.
and a thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, okay. So that 2 then, Brie?
Yep, that's 2.
Alright.
Apparently I'm
Did
too
we-
nice.
Yep, so we're up to 5. Did we delve into conspiracy's maze and give solace to dreamers? Yeah, I think so.
I think we gave solace to Phyll, right?
Yeah,
At
Phyll
the
got some
very
solace.
least. A little
Did we?
solace is a treat.
Did we explore the inner world of suspects and face their demons? I definitely did.
Yep.
I think y'all definitely did as well.
Sometimes
did
the
we
demon is your mean
A
boss
giant
is a
shark.
giant shark.
And did we express the essential nature, origin, or destiny of the group? I think we're coming to that point, especially seeing as our time traveler is just eclipsed.
Oh, go on. It's only the second session. You can have it.
We maxed the bar.
Hooray!
Okay, you can, yep, that's 1 advance. So you'll be able to pick a special ability or transcendence ability. You can also use a veteran ability, similar to Blades, to get something from another playbook, but another play sheet. So consider
Given,
that.
given that we struggle a lot with the social stuff, should we get Curator? Which gives us a dot in either forgive, express, or conceal each.
Yes, I like the idea of that.
You okay with that, Nels?
Uh,
There are other
Yeah.
options we can take. We can get an
I'm
extra
so-
dice from rolling obligation if we want.
I'm so surprised we filled it. I don't even. Wow. I'm so surprised that we filled up the track and get like a whole other thing in the second session.
It's only eight. It's only 8 tracks long, and we don't have like 4 of them to worry about.
Yep. While you're thinking about that, there is one other thing we have to get out of the way. The
Oh,
Fallout
that's-
phase.
Yeah.
No, I'm good with taking Lucid.
So
Curious.
Fallout. Sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Right.
Fallout.
Yeah. Sorry, you go on, Bree. We'll talk about
Sorry.
advanced later.
Yeah. Fallout is basically the aftermath of the mission. Obviously, it's going to maybe generate a cliffhanger for next episode.
Yeah.
But first things first, the adversary track. So, obviously, you've gone out and tried, explored the dream of an agent of the conspiracy. So that's put you at risk. So, first of all, let's see. Did the adversary's agenda move forward? No. Or if it did, you didn't know about it, so you don't have to worry about that. But someone
Missed
did
by
fall
one
into
by
a...
one by the. It missed by one by default anyway.
Yeah. Oh yeah, one segment by default. Someone did fall into Eclipse.
Unfortunately.
Okay. And did you come close to your destiny as established in the series creation? What's your destiny again?
To be the very best I know, I have no idea. Is that a thing?
That was something we defined in series creation. Yeah.
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah. What comes at the dream's end? Huh. Is that the destiny for it? Or is it?
Either we'll be trapped in the downward spiral, unable to leave it and brought down with it, or we will inspire people to think forward, aspire, and be able to share themselves and no longer be isolated.
Yeah, I'm going to say yes, you did, because, Phyll was basically a microcosm of that.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Okay. All right. So our conspiracy track appears to be 3 segments long.
Yep. 3 segments
that
along.
That puts us up here 3 dots along then. Yeah.
Yep. And obviously, if you manage to fill up the track, there'll probably be some retaliation.
Da, da, da.
Well, we have had like a Fallout roll though.
Yep. Time for the Fallout roll. Fallout roll.
We roll our TN.
Okay, so yep, I roll dice equal to the current investigation tier. So you're at tier 1, and consult the chart.
And all Fallout results are 1 worse because I've identified all the prop gators.
Oh yeah, that's true. Alright. Yep.
And our Fallout chart is page 216.
Yep, thank you. I'll just roll my handy d6 here.
Yep.
That is a 2.
That's the worst result possible anyway, so... An agent of the conspiracy acts.
Oh no.
Starting.
Okay, you know what? Well, let's make this fair. I'm just going to roll to decide which of you to pick on. Miracle. As you sort of, you sort of stand up from the tree, stretch your legs a bit, think about how much time you possibly spent sitting there, versus what you perceived in the dream. Your phone buzzes. I'm going to assume Miracle keeps it on silent.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a text from Braden.
Oh no.
Friend of mine wants to speak with you when you're free. And that's where we'll leave it.
No.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a reminder, we did establish that Chris was a friend of Braden.
I know.
Yes. Yes, we did. That is explicitly in the notes section of the protagonist sheet.
I'm
Okay.
glad somebody else was taking better notes than I am.
There's literally a space for it on the conspiracy sheet for suspects, so you want to put it there as well.
Yeah.
Oh, that might actually be where it is. It was a conspiracy sheet, not the protagonist sheet.
I've put conspiracy blackmailer, but I've not put anything about Chris, and then it's not that low. So anyway, cool. Yay,
Yeah,
fun
nice.
session.
I've put associate of Braden, blackmailing / bribing Phyll, probable conspirator, which I can now remove the probable.
I'm giving up on this murder board. Somebody else is doing a better job of it than I am.
Okay. So I think that's everything for the session.
Excellent.
Yay.
Right. I'll find someone to raid. Anyone want to sort of show themselves a bit?
Lancer next week. 2 of these players are in it and are going to be doing their downtime actions.
Oh yeah, that's the thing.
Yes. Hype.
Dusk is going to get herself arrested.
Yeah.
I'm going to convince Rhodes to become a Lucifer class NHP.
Okay. Speaking of, you got anything going on in Fizz?
I think this week is our off week for Baldur's Gate, so not that. But on Saturday, I think I have a thing planned with Catbat. So look out for that. We're going to be co-oping on something again. Also, High Magic Low Lives is coming up.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, good game.
That's
Yes.
Is that Friday
uplift.
or?
It's a day, less than a week away.
So presumably next Friday.
Presumably. I don't know exactly because I can't remember. I don't have a good memory.
Yeah, it's the 9th.
Yeah.
Anything from you, Nellis?
Sorry?
Any plugs for you?
I have a YouTube I don't use, and a Twitch I don't use, and a Blue Sky I don't use much. I'm on Tumblr. I could be on Twitch again someday. I could post something on YouTube again someday. I could post something on Blue Sky, actually.
Yay.
Nolisman on all of those.
Cool.
Read it.
Yep. You saved one very specific person in the city. It's a start. So yeah, I think we might raid Netherjam, unless anyone wants to suggest someone.
No,
change
yeah,
mine at the
great.
moment. All right. This was fun.
Yep.
Been great playing with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll
Thanks
sort
for
of work
letting
out.
me.
Thank you for playing. We'll sort of work out our next session off stream because I am very tired, and we
Hi,
are,
very tired.
can't believe your character's going to die in Eclipse.
Yeah. Such a shame.
It's the
I
most
mean,
Enfys thing.
You joke, but it's very possible.
It is possible.
All right.
You could, yeah. But yeah, we're raiding Netherjam, who is playing the Elder Scrolls Oblivion HD re-release.
Fun.
So yeah,
Have you pressed the
everyone
red button? Yes, you have.
yeah. everyone, chat, have a lovely weekend, and everyone say goodbye.
Bye all.
Goodbye.
Bye.
I have so much unpacking to do.
Okay. That's
I've
the
already
raid
done
gone
most of
through.
it.
Anyone want to
Cool.
say anything for YouTube?
Like and
Nope.
subscribe.
That.
Press the bell, whatever it is. Whatever it gets replaced with inevitably.
Yeah.
Mingle the
Listen-
dingle
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
People keep saying that.
Listen to these smart people. Comments about your favorite magical girl series, I guess. Anyway, I'm gonna
I
stop the
forgot-
stream.